Hello, everyone. Welcome to issue 1 of Savage Tales, Capes of Valor. Is that the title? Yes.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now, everybody.
It's in stone.
It's set in stone and on the internet. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining again, issue 1, Savage Tales, Capes of Valor. Here we'll be playing a superhero-themed campaign using one of my personal favorite systems, Savage Worlds. More specifically, we will be using the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, along with the Savage Worlds Superpowers Companion 2nd Edition. This gives us the superpower base we want, along with the most current core rules for the game, for everybody to follow along with. This will be my first time running the new Adventure Edition rules, so I'm extra excited. But also a disclaimer, this is my first time running the new Adventure Edition rules, so if I make a mistake, this is because I might have some of the orders stuck in my head, and I'm not a very smart person. Thank you all so much to the makers of Savage Worlds Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and to Sirenscape, which allows us to use all the epic music you hear in all of our games. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you haven't already, give us a follow here on Twitch. It helps tremendously so we can continue to do this and have fun. Okay, so with all of that said, let's meet everyone who'll be playing our costumed heroes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Eldritch Echoes on the internet. My name's Tyler. I will be playing the weird guy of this party. I will be our supernatural hero with creeptastic powers and also all the money. All the money.
All the money.
So much money.
Hi, I'm Sean at Space Lord PJs. I'll be playing the Siberian, who is a mutant tiger man. Imagine that. Really excited.
I am Sarah, and I will be playing the very aloof, sweet angel type superhero who has healing powers and a little trick up her sleeve.
Hey there, I'm Eric at Marron Recluse on the internet, and I'll be playing X, the cybernetic ninja from the dark future. I've loved Savage Worlds and comic books for decades, so to be playing this game today is the peanut butter in my chocolate surprise of role-playing.
Holy shit.
Can he get a point, like, if that's part of the system, just right off the bat?
Thank you.
Yes, Eric, when we start, hopefully we'll get to start tonight. Pretty confident we will. You can have yourself an extra Benny for that. And we'll explain what a Benny is.
Yes.
So, but that actually, because that leads in perfectly to what I was going to ask. I know that some of us have played Savage Worlds before in the past, and since in our previous episode we did talk about our superhero origins, I thought maybe we could talk about a few of the Savage Worlds things that we've done, and maybe provide a couple examples for Sarah, who I know who's playing for the first time. So, what's like one key moment that any of you remember in Savage Worlds that you've played so far?
Oh, man.
If you have one.
So many.
Oh, we played that game with Rob, and we ended it on my wedding. What was that, the day before? We were in the Bahamas, or where were we?
We were docked in the Bahamas.
That's right.
And we were in your wedding cabin, and we played like a 5-hour session.
That's right. We did. We spent, we're like, we don't need to go to the Bahamas. We need to roll dice. Let's stay in this
it's hot
huge
in the
cabin.
Bahamas.
Yeah, it's hot. Let's just go on the air-conditioned cruise. And yeah, we did that. That session had been going on for a while. It was really good because the dice kept beating Rob's story, which was great. And then he had this whole cinematic Game of Thrones type thing where everybody died at the end, and it was great. It was fun.
For me, I have a big history with Savage Worlds. I've been able to run it in Deadlands, the fantasy game that Sean just referenced. Eric has run me through countless like espionage and like low-key kind of like spy stuff. I played a few campaigns that we tried to get off the ground with Tyler. And one of the reasons I did want to ask these questions is because I wanted to illustrate the fact that Savage Worlds is a amazingly unique and versatile system. You can play pretty much anything you can think of using Savage Worlds. So, as mentioned before, we are going to be using Savage Worlds, but what is Savage Worlds? As mentioned, Savage Worlds is a very versatile gaming system that has countless setting companions. So it provides you a mechanical framework to run a game while being adaptable to run any genre. So that's really the best way to explain it. Savage Worlds itself is just a mechanical framework, and then you can just throw any trapping on top of it to make any type of story you want out of it. It is a dice exploding system via the ability for any of the die you roll to be able to ace. Acing is the term used when a die rolls its highest possible value. If you get a 4 on a d4, roll it again and keep adding to your total. This can keep happening until you do not roll the highest value. Get 4 10s on the same d10 in a row and then roll a 1. You just rolled a 41. Congratulations. So no matter how dire a situation is or unlikely, there's always a chance you can succeed on any roll in the game. So that's one of the great things about this one. Other than that, we'll get into a lot of the more rules going forward. We'll cover all of those to make sure everyone can follow along at home. But the core kind of mechanic of that is you want to do something. I'll tell you what skill you need to roll to do it. You roll and you're trying to hit your target number. More often than not, 90% of the time, your target number is 4. And it goes up for more difficult things. But for the most part, that's all you got to keep in mind. I want to roll a 4, maybe a 5. Depends. But yeah, that's kind of it. And we can go ahead and jump into it. So we have here the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. And what we will do is just go over some of the core rules really quickly, and then kind of look at the characters that we have for everybody, and hopefully then we can go ahead and jump into the game. So let me get those rules pulled up. Sorry. I can do numbers. Okay. So Tyler, do we want to pull up a character sheet and kind of just show everyone at home?
Yep, I can
follow
do that.
along as we go over some of the core mechanics of the character.
Do that.
Okay.
Sarah, on the offhand, we get any chat, feel free to reply if I don't, since I'm triple testing.
I would. Well, we'll see how my internet does with it. Because when I had it up for the other game, I'm like.
I'm in there, so I can.
Okay.
Chat back.
Between the 5 of us, someone will answer.
Okay.
All right. So.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Keep the chats coming. I love interacting with you guys, and so happy that you're here.
Who wants to be the guinea pig? If nobody says yes, I'll do it.
Penny gig?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm a government experiment.
Hold on. Mine is popped out. Let me do it. Okay. And I know I have a button for this. I don't, but I can add one real fast.
Okay. While he's pulling that up, we can go ahead and we can get into it. So what makes up the core of a character in Savage Worlds is a combination of all of what's referred to as your traits. It's a kind of a big catch-all word for a couple of key things that are made up in a character. Specifically, traits are made up of attributes, skills, attributes and skills. The other things that are making up your characters are your hindrances and your edges. And for us, in using superpowers, will also be our superpowers themselves make up our characters. Attributes are kind of similar to a lot of other RPG games. You're going to have your strength, constitution, things like that. So for this in Savage Worlds, you have agility, smarts, spirit, strength, and vigor. And they just kind of represent, again, physical or mental capacities of your character. Your skills are derived from those attributes. They are kind of linked, and they inform you what type of die you're rolling to accomplish any particular task that you want to. For example, fighting is a skill in the game that covers all forms of melee combat. So whether or not you're using a sword, punching, hitting someone with a bar stool, it's all going to be covered under fighting, and that's going to be attached to your agility. The more agile you are, the better you're able to hit things. That's how you're going to be able to do it. So your agility can go up from a D4 to a D12 with some modifications for the superheroes, which happens. And then your fighting can be bought up to that same number for just a couple of points, and then from there it will cost more if you go over the die type associated with the attribute. So I hope you're able to follow on with that. We'll give you a specific example as we go forward. That's the main thing. You want to try to match your skills to your attributes to get the most out of them. So
you now have a sheet they can see.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Right.
So whose is it?
Me.
So as you can see, the agility for Dr. Eventide is a 6. His fighting is a D12. That means he actually paid a lot of points one way or another, either using his skill points or using his superpowers to be able to get it that high. But that's how those are attached, and that's how you're going to be able to roll that. All you got to do is if you want to punch somebody, you roll that fighting button right there. It rolls for you. Boom. And he got a 5. Which means he will hit some opponents, some not, depending on what their parry is, which we'll also get to. But that's the core of the game. He wanted to punch, he clicked fighting, he rolled, and we find out whether or not it hit. And then we just keep going as fast as possible. And I'm just getting excited thinking about it. So, yes. This is also a really good example to talk about the wild die. In Savage Worlds, anytime you roll something, you're going to roll however many die that you need to accomplish something. Usually it's going to be one trait die. So in this situation with Tyler having a D12 in fighting, he rolls that D12. He also gets to roll a D6. This is standard for all player characters and some of your more big bad guys and important NPCs. You get to roll a D6 extra. You do not add these together. They are two separate rolls, but you can take the better of the two rolls. So you have 2 chances to succeed on anything that you're doing. Both of these dice can ace or explode to continue to add to their value if they roll their max trait. So the game is very rewarding for trying things. You get 2 dice to be able to do something. They can keep acing, so you can pull off some pretty incredible stuff in this game. It's really awesome. But the wild die, again, can only be rolled by what's referred to as a wild card. What's a wild card? Wild cards specifically are all player characters and usually NPCs that have names or have important roles within the story. Random detective number 2 probably is not a wild card, but Commissioner Charles Warden definitely is a wild card. So
yeah, named characters.
Exactly. Okay. This is a new edition of Savage Worlds. Again, the Adventure Edition. So what are the new rules in this game? It is a good example of the same but different.
Mm-hmm.
So, we talked about wild cards. Anyone who's not a wild card is an extra. So, that's the defining line. Wild card and extras. If you're looking in the book, the wild card's going to have a little symbol next to them, usually themed to whatever campaign setting you're in, but the game will tell you exactly what symbol it is that you're looking for so that you can easily identify who's a wild card and who's not. We talked about traits and trait rolls. Again, you just whatever the character sheet says the number next to your trait, that's all you're rolling, along with your wild card D6. We talked about acing. Raises. So it's important that in this game that you can raise. As I mentioned before, the target number generally to complete an action in this game is 4, which means that the game works on an increment of 4. If you succeed by 4 more than your target number, you raise on that roll. So that's in a lot of other systems. You'll have a yes, and yes, but system. It's kind of the same in this. If you want to make a roll on something and you match the target number, you completed the action. Yes, you completed the action. If you raise, it's yes and. So you'll complete the action that you want, and something beneficial to you will usually happen. So that's the game is rewarding you for getting higher rolls and beating the target number by more than you needed to. So again, target number was 4 on like a lock pick, and you roll an 8. You not only picked the lock, but you were so quiet, no one in the room heard you without even having to roll your stealth roll. You were just that good at picking the lock. So the higher you roll, the better the thing that you were trying to do. So roll high and good stuff happens to you in this game. It really rewards taking those risks and rolling those dice, and if you succeed, good stuff happens. There are opposed rolls. These are really easy. 2 people are rolling the same stat usually, and whoever rolls better or gets more raises generally wins. So in this game, that'll come up a few times. So we'll just have that opposed roll, and remember, it's increments of 4. Whoever gets more raises is going to win. Critical failures. You can critically fail in this game. Critical failures occur when a wild die rolls a 1 on both the skill die and wild die of a trait roll. So those your die come up 1, bad stuff happens to you. If an
Save
extra
your bennies.
Save your bennies, which we'll get to. If an extra rolls a 1 on a trait check, then yeah, it's normally just going to knock them out of the fight for the most part. Extras can't really keep up with critical failures. Some abilities allow characters to roll multiple trait dice, such as the Frenzy Edge or firing a weapon with a high rate of fire. A critical failure with multiple dice occurs when more than half the die results are a natural 1. If the character is a wild card, the wild die must be a 1 as well. So, if you have if you have a gun that has a rate of fire of 3, that means you're rolling 3 shooting die with that gun. If 1 of those dice comes up 1, it's not a problem. If 2 comes up, that's more than half your die. That means you got the critical failure.
Yep.
So, there are different benefits and things in the game that allow you to re-roll dice. If one of our players has those abilities, we'll discuss those as they come, but they do exist. So even if you mess up, there are ways the game allows you to continue to re-roll. One of those ways that the game allows you to re-rolls is bennies. Every now and then, dice rolls just may not work in your favor. That's why Savage World gives you a little control over your hero's fate. Players start each game session with 3 bennies. This is short for benefits. Usually represented by poker chips, gaming stones, or official bennies that you can get from Pinnacle. Check them out. They're actually really cool. Bennies are discarded at the end of each session, so use them or lose them. You can't bank them up and have 9 bennies in a session down the road. Bennies are awarded in 2 ways, so you can actually get more than just your starting 3. The game master can, give them out for good role play or really cool or creative ideas. Eric having his peanut butter and chocolate Savage World's peanut butter cup comment. Things like that. So, especially in a superhero game, expect bennies to fly out like crazy. If you do something cool or heroic, or your cape just flaps in the wind in the right way, you're going to get a benny. We're here to be awesome. We're here to be cool. So let's put on tights and let's be cool. Joker's wild. When a player character draws a Joker during combat, all players in the group receive a benny. The context of that is that the initiative system in Savage Worlds is done via a deck of playing cards. 54 playing cards exactly, the normal 52, plus both Jokers, Black Joker, Red Joker. Every round, a new initiative order is dealt out, which means that combat initiative is never set. It's constantly fluctuating. So if you're at the back of an initiative order, you're not stuck there reacting to everyone else the entire fight. The very next round, you can go first. So you could be last and then first, and have 2 actions right in a row. This game is just tossing cards out and allows you to very quickly kind of adjust your strategy, and you can go from being, behind in a fight to ahead in a fight very quickly. And if you draw a joker, you're getting those extra bennies, and you're getting a couple of extra benefits to whatever your action is in that turn. That's, I think, honestly, what really drew me to the system in the first place, when Eric introduced me to the system actually many, many years ago. And when he explained that part to me, I got really excited because I don't know, it was a personal frustration of mine when I would be last in an initiative order, and
Same.
you're just reacting to what other people are doing as opposed to like kind of coming up with a lot of your own stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
So this just allows you to be all over the place in the initiative, and it feels more like a fight where you can go first, go second, stand back, like do all these kind
Keeps
of
it
things.
interesting, yeah.
Very interesting and free flowing, and that's what's great about this game. Everything's very free flow, creative. So yeah. So they all get 3 bennies, but I get bennies too.
Mm-hmm.
Game masters get bennies at the start of each session. The game master gets 1 benny for each player character. They may be used for any of his characters, including non-wild cards. Each of the GM's wild cards has 2 bennies themselves when they appear in the game. They can use these or any of the bennies in common with the pool as the GM wishes. So I get 4 for having you 4 in the game, and if I have a wild card introduced, I've now got 6 bennies that I can use, throw all sorts of awesome random crazy stuff at you guys, which I am excited to do. However, heroes get bennies when they do something clever, role play, or affected by their hindrances in a scene. The GM doesn't reward myself when role playing villains, but characters do benefit from drawing jokers in combat. So if the villain draws the joker, the villain is getting that additional benny, but I'm not rewarding my villains for my role play. That's just, yeah. So, what does a benny actually do? A benny allows you to reroll a trait. That's any trait, so it can be a attribute roll or a skill roll. Don't like what you rolled on that fighting or that shooting or that athletics, spend a benny, re-roll it, hopefully you do better. You can recover from shaken. This is a combat condition. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we talk about combat. It's the most common condition in the game. You're going to be shaken a lot. That's just kind of the way that the system works. You can spend a benny to immediately get out of that condition and get back into the fight without losing a turn. You can do a soak roll. Soak rolls are another thing. If you take a lot of damage in one attack, the one where you might get knocked down in just one hit, you can spend a benny, you can make a roll, and you can kind of eliminate all that damage with just one roll and keep fighting. You can draw a new action card. Don't like the card you got in the initiative, spend a benny, draw a new card. You're now, going somewhere else in the initiative. New to the game is you can reroll damage. You may spend a benny to reroll any damage roll, including any additional dice you may have gained from a raise on an attack roll. This used to be an edge in older systems of Savage Worlds that you had to buy, but now it is standard for all players to be able to do. You can regain power points, which we will not be using because we are superheroes. Our power points are statically spent. We don't have to use them. We don't have to micromanage that, so we can skip over that. And finally, this is a really interesting one that I really like. Very similar, actually, to some of the other games we've been playing. With a benny, you can influence the story. This is entirely up to the GM and the players to kind of work out together. But they can allow a character to spend a benny to find an additional clue if they're stuck, come up with some item that they need, or push a non-player character into being a bit more agreeable. So if there's a character that's just not helping you out and you really need information from them, we didn't open a door for you, or tell you the secret identity of, the masked villain that's terrorizing the retirement home, spend a benny, make that person more agreeable, or find their itinerary that they need that has the note inside. Super villain is actually Todd in accounting. Boom. You did it.
Damn
but
Todd.
yeah, that's goddamn Todd.
Are
But yeah, that's it. That's what you do. It allows you to reroll a lot of your things, influence the story, and just generally keep going and keeping yourself in the action. So if something's not going your way, bennies are going to help you pretty much overcome a lot of those obstacles. They are what make them heroic.
Can I add one thing to what you said? The one thing that bennies won't allow you to do as far as re-rolling is when you roll a critical failure. That's the only exception. You can't re-roll those. So if you get snake eyes, you got stuck with them.
That is absolutely
for those critical
true.
failures.
Thank you. That is the one thing it will not allow you to do. Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
All right. So we can. Those are kind of the basic rules of what attributes are, skills are, and then bennies. The other thing that I do want to talk about really quick are hindrances and edges. So as you're building a character, which we'll talk about our characters a little bit here, in a little bit. Did not get that sentence out well. Hindrances are things that are conditions that you can give your character that limit what they can do or focus what they're actually going to be roleplay wise. It can either be a mechanical negative or a roleplay descriptor. So, for example, you could have a vow that you have to follow, and if the situation comes up, that kind of allows you to know more about your character and know that, I have this vow that I have to protect. I had to protect children from spiders, no matter what. So if there ever comes a situation where there's a child that's about to be eaten by a spider, your character, no matter what, is saving that child. This is a really cool way. You can get really creative with the hindrances to be able to flesh out what your character does and put you and the rest of the group in situations that they might not necessarily want to get into because you got to play to that hindrance. Taking these hindrances do give you points to be able to spend on other things. So it's a way to get some additional points of character creation to up an attribute, up a skill, or buy an edge. What is an edge? Edge is very similar to feats in other games. They are just little benefits that kind of help dictate what your character does or what they have access to. These can be things like Brawler, which allows you to punch a little bit better. It's going to be something like Mr. Fix-It, which allows you to be a better repairer person. Or something like Rich and Filthy Rich, which just gives you massive more amounts of starting wealth. There are dozens of edges in the game. We cannot go over all of them, but the game just provides you with all of these tools to be able to build out a character that even if you were to somehow build mechanically with the same attributes and the same skills, the exact same character as somebody else, you can take different hindrances and different edges and have a completely different character in game.
Yeah, some are genre specific.
And some are genre specific. That's like I said, there are so many setting campaigns for Savage Worlds that not only do you have the core book that provides you with a bunch of these, but these campaign settings provide you with campaign edges as well. So if you're playing Deadlands, there are Deadlands specific campaign or edges in the superhero game. I'm flash this real quick. Superhero.
Oh, Flash.
Yeah. And in that book, there are superhero specific edges. So again, there's a great tool to be able to make characters in this game. Just a big benefit. Okay, edges and hindrances out of the way. How do you fight supervillains in this game? Because that's really what we're all here for. We're here to punch masked bad guys in the face. We did talk about the action cards. That's what's going to be we call the playing deck, we call it the action cards. That dictates what your initiative is. It's a different way of saying cards. A round is an entire countdown of action cards from ace to deuce, or two. I had to read that out of the book. I apologize, I said the word deuce. Yikes.
What the deuces, man?
So that's a round. You deal out how many, let's say there's 7 people in the initiative, you deal out 7 cards. As soon as you run through those 7 cards, that's the full round. There's turns, which is just each individual person's turn, and then actions inside of that. You can basically take 3 actions in this game. We'll get into the action economy a little bit later. Actually, it's the very next thing because I read ahead. Actions. In this game, characters perform their actions when their action card comes up. They can choose from running using one of their skills. So if you want to climb a tree or a building, or you want to jump over a building in a single bound, you're going to use a skill. That's an action to be able to do so. You can also move. You're going to have a pace built into your character. That's how far you can move in any one action. And you also get one free action. This just doesn't speaking in a short sentence or two, moving up to the character's pace, which is wrong. I just said that. I apologize. That's a free action. Moving up to a character's pace, falling prone, dropping an item are all free actions. The hero can generally perform several free actions on her turn simultaneously. Speaking and dropping an item work together. Some free actions occur automatically at the beginning of a character's turn and may be tried once, such as recovering from being shaken or stunned. So if you have a condition on you, you have the opportunity to recover from it. That is a free action. And then you can make that roll to attempt to become unstunned. Free actions that are reactions, such as resisting opposed rolls or powers, are unlimited and occur each time the situation presents itself. So trying to dodge out of the way of an enemy fireball, that's not going to eat up one of your actions. You're just going to want to evade and roll out of the way. You get an attack. In this game, there are melee attacks and there are range attacks. If you want to use a melee attack, you're rolling fighting. If you want to do a range attack, you're rolling shooting. That's it. There are ranged modifiers for shooting. The farther away you are, the higher the shot's going to get. Like I mentioned, target number to shoot something is always usually going to be 4, but if you're really far away, it's going to be a little bit higher. Each weapon has a range increment. It's going to have 3 numbers for short, medium, long. Short is just your standard 4. Medium, you take a -2 to your roll. Long, you take a -4 to your roll. There are extreme shots where you can shoot from even further out, but you've got to have a couple of things to help you do that. We did talk about rate of fire. If you have a rate of fire more than 1, that means you can actually roll more of that attack die than usual. So if you have a punch with a rate of fire of 3 or a gun with a rate of fire of 3, you're rolling your fighting or you're rolling your shooting die 3 times along with that 1 wild die. If you hit on any of those attacks, you roll a damage die. That's going to be compared to an enemy's toughness score, which is a derived stat based on other things that are built into the character. You have to overcome their toughness to deal damage to them. You can get bonus damage if you hit something really well. You can actually get bonus damage. That means that if you roll a fighting and you needed a 5 to hit somebody and you rolled a 10, you rolled 4 over the number that you needed, which we talked about before. That means that you raised. Anything 4 or more is a raise. If you raise on an attack roll, you get to add an extra d6 of damage to your attack. That gets built in as well.
Which can also explode.
So dice. It's just a pile of dice. Love it. When you hit somebody and you deal less than their toughness, there's no actual effect to them. They just shook off your attack. If your damage is equal to or 3 above their toughness, you have shaken them. Shaken means that you're overcome by the heat of battle. You're overcome by what's going on. You're kind of like, I gotta protect myself from what's happening, and it's you're nicked, bruised, otherwise rattled. You can only take free actions such as moving at the start of their turn. Shaken characters must attempt to recover from being shaken by making a spirit roll. A spirit is one of your attributes. This is a free action. If you fail this roll, the character remains shaken, and you can only perform free actions going forward. The character, if you succeed, you're no longer shaken, and you may act normally. So beginning of your turn, make a roll. You fail, you can't act. You succeed, you take your turn. It's just a way to kind of keep you having to make more rolls if you're getting beat up a lot. If you are already shaken and you get shaken again, you actually take a wound. So that's one of the ways that you can kind of work together in combination with each other. So if one of go ahead.
You go from shaken to stirred.
You exactly.
Shaken to stunned.
Sorry.
Had a roll, now it's gone. No, this is a cool way we've done. You work with people in your team to be able to coordinate different shakes on people. So if you have a power or if you have an ability to shake someone else can come in and attack them, and then if they shake them as well, you two are kind of teaming up to be able to hurt your enemy maybe a little bit easier than you can by yourself. So shaken is a really cool mechanic to be able to kind of isolate a bad guy and kind of keep putting damage on him in ways where you might not be able to otherwise. There's an injury table. If something really bad happens to somebody, we'll roll on the injury table and we'll see what happens. We're going to keep those a secret for now because they're kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing for this section, wounds. Every raise on the damage roll inflicts a wound. Extras are incapacitated if they take a single wound. They are dead, injured, or otherwise out of the fight. Wild cards can take 3 wounds and still function. More with certain edges and abilities, but further damage doesn't cause additional wounds, but incapacitates them instead. You do have a wound penalty. So each wound a character suffers causes a -1 penalty to their pace and all trait rolls up to a maximum of -3. So this is where getting hurt actually really hurts you. If you've taken do what?
I said pausing there on the character sheet under health, top middle for all of you guys. If you check it, the sheet will do the math for you on your rolls.
Yes, we have a great character sheet that takes care of all of that for us. But essentially, if you have taken 2 wounds, that means that any roll you make for the most part is going to have a -2 attached to it, and it becomes harder to do the things that you're doing to. You're having to account for the fact that you're actually getting hurt in this fight. Characters sometimes take multiple hits on the same action card. Resolve each roll separately and completely before moving on to the next. So, if you're getting hit from 3 separate bullets from like a gun that's being fired, we're doing each attack and damage separately to see what happens. That does come important later in regard to the toughness, things like that, what your damage you're actually overcoming. If you take more than 3 wounds, you become incapacitated. Incapacitated characters may not perform actions, but are still dealt action cards for the remainder of the encounter in case they recover, or must roll for other effects such as bleeding out. Edges or hindrances that affect cards are ignored when the hero is incapacitated. If incapacitated by damage or injury, you must make an immediate vigor roll. And this is where character death comes into play. So if you're incapacitated, you have to make this vigor roll. Vigor represents your physical strength and ability to keep fighting through injury. On a critical failure, that is 2 1s, the character does die. Not very likely to happen, but that's how you die in this game. If you fail just regularly, you roll on the injury table. You take that injury permanently, and the character then is bleeding out, which means you're going to make more rolls going forward. A success on this vigor roll means you roll on the injury table. You get a temporary injury that goes away when you're healed back up. And if you succeed and raise, roll on the injury table. The injury goes away in only 24 hours, or when all wounds are healed, whichever is sooner. So again, the better you do, if you raise, it's more beneficial to you. Characters cannot take actions and might be unconscious. The victim makes a vigor roll each day thereafter and is no longer incapacitated. So this is if you fall into a coma, things like that. You're going to keep making these vigor rolls as the days pass. When you're bleeding out, an injured character is dying and must make a vigor roll at the start of his turn. Failure means he perishes. With success, they survive but must roll again next turn, or every minute if not in combat. With a raise, he stabilizes and no further rolls are required. If your friend goes down, and your friend starts bleeding out, you need to stabilize them, because they're going to make rolls until they either succeed or they die. So it's a tough situation. It can be a very gritty system. It can be a system which you die a lot. This is not going to happen so much in ours, I think, for the most part, because we're playing these superheroes. We have a lot of abilities, and we have a lot of stuff built in to keep doing that super heroic thing, and that's the field that we're going to want to go for. So the tone that we're kind of setting here doesn't necessarily lead into a lot of bleeding out and characters dying. It could happen, but I'm much more interested. And we have a healer, so I don't see this coming up too much, but I just want to get it out there and how this system actually works and handles character death. Other characters may stop a victim's bleeding by making a healing roll. This is including minusing the patient's wound penalty. So even though you're helping your friend, any healing you give them, you're taking the negatives from their wounds, because you have to overcome their damage to help them out. This action is successful, the patient is stabilized. The healing power can also stabilize wounds, as can natural healing rolled by being within some sort of regeneration. That's the long and short of it. Again, there are soak rolls. Spend a Benny, roll a die. You can knock out some wounds, so wounds incoming. So if they get hit by an attack and you might take 2 wounds, you can make a vigor roll, and if you succeed, you knock out 1 wound. If you raise, you knock out the other wound, and now you've taken no damage, and you can keep fighting. So, other than that, there are a lot of kind of like little intricate rules that kind of go into combat. I don't want to necessarily go over all of those. We can go over them when the situation comes up. And if anyone's reading through this, you kind of know what they are. If you guys, as the players, want to do something cool, something creative, something crazy, tell me what you want to do, and we can figure out the best thing to do to make sure that you can complete the really super heroic stuff that we want to get done in this. But I don't want to stay here all day necessarily going over every single rule in the book. I think we have a pretty okay understanding of kind of what the general concepts are. We know our attributes, we know our skills, hindrances, edges, and we know a couple of our combat rules. So with that, let's jump into what our characters are made up of and what you'll be getting from them in the game. Since we've all been looking at Dr. Caligno Eventide for the last 47 hours, let's go ahead and go over them. Tyler, do you want to walk us through your character and kind of give us the highlights of what he does?
Dr. Eventide was cursed because he was aware a very long time ago. He won't tell you where, he won't tell you when. A very long time ago, not a catastrophe. Words. I wasn't prepared.
That's okay.
Atrocity. An atrocity happened in a far-off place. Many people died. And he could have done something about it, including saving his own family, except he didn't because he was drunk and a coward. His family cursed him for that, and ever since... this is player knowledge, not character. Ever since, he is cursed to help those in need if he is reasonably able to. For all time, he can never die, unless he dies helping those in need. Also, he is cursed to be weak unless he consumes the thing that caused him his trouble in the first place, so he drinks a lot. His character is supernatural. His powers are derived from the darkness from whence he was cursed. His 2 main benefits to the party are, he's been around for a very long time, so he has a lot of skill variety. He never takes a penalty for rolling unskilled, and he's filthy rich and has an HQ for us if it ever needs to be had. He has a lot of money and a lot of access to equipment and gear, which is also a very big edge. Superpower-wise, he is a Revenant, which gives him a lot of undead abilities, some super attributes, and some super skills. He has ageless knowledge, which is the skills and the feats that make him rich and have lots of stuff. He is embraced by the night, which is power array, which in this system means you buy the main power and then you pay some extra points to add sub-powers at the original power's cost without paying for all of them individually. The trade-off is you can only do one at a time, never simultaneous. Embraced by the night, he can become the night, go ethereal and invisible and float through walls and teleport and heal in shadows and see through everything. Regenerate incredibly rapidly, 1 wound or 1 roll every turn. second power in the array is that he can create creeping darkness. I can surround an area in darkness that can do a variety of effects, from giving bad guys penalties to helping you guys out to other random cool side effects that we can deal with as they come up. He also has devouring darkness, where I can touch you with my shadow and dissolve solid matter, or dissolve you, whichever I feel like. And last but not least, regenerate. If I am in an area of shadow or darkness, I regenerate stupidly rapidly. Also, in addition to my cool house, my endless gear, I have a 1936 Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 with a custom build, large-sized, with handling bonuses, a top speed of 160 miles per hour, more toughness than me, holds 5 of us, has airbags, stealth paint, sloped armor. It's also very black.
Amazing.
Caligno. I am Dr. Caligno, Eventide. I'm a doctor of many things. All are very old time. I'll do my appearance when it comes up so you can all laugh.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Sean.
Okay. So my character is Jack Jackson. He is from Jacksonville, Florida. Duval. He was working a low-level animal trainer job in a Florida theme park that was secretly storing radioactive waste in the big cat pen on the sly for extra money to support the maintenance of the animals in the park. Working on overnights, cleaning the pens on a dark and stormy night. Excessive rain caused minor flooding, which caused a containment wall to give way where the radioactive material was being stored. While investigating the situation, Jack was struck by lightning, fusing his DNA with that of the big cats. The next morning, he found himself changing. He was 3 times his size with the aesthetics of a big white Siberian tiger. So he looks like a big cat man.
Stop you there for 1 second. I must interject for those at home, because we've cleared this up 6 times. Yes, the Siberian was struck by radioactive lightning, which gave him cold powers. Continue.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to that yet.
He hasn't mentioned the cold powers. He's only mentioned that he's a cat man.
So through happenstance, he found himself to be super strong and not invulnerable to damage. Taking on a bad Russian accent, he started fighting crime because he's the Siberian. He also talks in third person because it's fun. He's been doing this for many years now, keeping his identity hidden as best as possible. However, in the day and age of social media, he gained a minor following and found this brave new social world attractive to the superhero antics. He keeps a larger social media following. However, he does rarely meet in person. So he tries to be secretive about who he is, just this big hulking monster of a cat. As such, I took the growth powers, which gives you extra strength and toughness. He's a fairly good fighter. He's really good at athletics. He also has a cold aura for no other reason than it's fun.
Radioactive cold.
Radioactive cold. So that actually has the selective and armor piercing abilities attached to it. So anybody that's standing right next to him and he wants it to happen, he does 2d6 worth of damage against them, with 2 of that being armor piercing. So he also has leap like a cat. He has low light vision, super sense and smell, perception, and tracking through smell. I wrote down he has cold hard bodies. He's immune to poison and disease. He has a level in parry because he has cat-like reflexes. He can wall walk, and he has an extra limb, which obviously is his very large cat tail, so that helps him with grappling. He's also kind of a big old grappler, and it's going to get nasty if somebody gets close to him. So should be fun.
Okay. I can't wait for the wrestling matches that I will put you in.
Superman punch.
Yeah, basically.
Superman punch and a spear.
No.
Yep, it's coming.
No,
it's coming.
I will refuse to do those moves.
Eric, you want to go next?
Sure, unless Sarah would
Or
like
Sarah,
to.
do you want to introduce? Who wants to go next?
Okay, get it done and over with. I'm excited to play this character, but admittedly, I do not know how to go in detail about her like Tyler and Sean did.
That is perfectly fine. As much as you like just about the character themselves, and we can, do the mechanics at any time. So just, yeah.
Okay, well, she can fly. I modeled her after the superhero Angel, but her superhero name is Nightingale. Her regular name is Gale Skies. That gotta love that cheesy. Shut up, gosh. No, anyway, so
so good.
She's not very smart. She's really sweet, and she's very clumsy, which I'm really excited to play that flaw. It's gonna be great.
Uncoordinated angel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I can speak to the powers real quick, just so people watching can know.
Sure.
She can fly real fast enough
Very
that you
fast.
take penalties to shoot at her. She can heal in and out of combat. In combat, if we're close enough and she does her thing, we can just remove shake and no rolls needed. She can wail like a banshee and hit people with a sonic effect, excluding us in an area. And she can direct her shouts at specific targets to do massive amounts, the max of damage. Also, she's our face, with lots of boost to persuasion and charisma.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Because that leaves me. I'm playing X, who has an impossible task to accomplish. He has to prevent a dark and dystopian future from coming to pass. Whoops, too late. The seemingly robotic Mirage keeps reloading him into a shell and keeps sending him back, no matter how many times he may perish in doing so. She's somewhat of a distant and emotionless voice from the future that keeps tasking X with this grim purpose. And with every transfer through time, he has to relearn his mission and is dispatched again and again into the night to sort of prevent this terrible future from happening. As far as the powers array, he has a lot of different things. He has armor. He's basically, some part of him is still human. Some part of his shell is still human, but the outer shell is his armor power. It's basically like black chrome head to toe, very cyberpunk, obviously, and he basically gives him like defense against most arms except heavy arms. So like stuff that can blow up a tank will hurt him. Otherwise, small arms is just kind of like pish posh. He has invisibility as well, which is themed as sort of like optical and electronic camouflage, so he can just kind of like disappear from sight and like meld into the background. He has a power called Interface, which it's kind of like flavored as a terminal access jack. Just think like, if this guy breaks into your building or whatever, he has like a little slot on his arm that kind of like slides open and this little thing slithers out and like just jacks into whatever terminal is there and just hacks it and lets himself in. He also took Codebreaker for that purpose, so he basically gets a +4 bonus when it comes to electronic lockpicking, that sort of thing. He also took Heightened Senses because he's a ninja cyborg, so obviously he's going to need to know where everybody is at all times. In this particular case, he has Infravision and Enhanced Perception because I'm a huge, Terminator and Predator fan, so, he can just kind of like go invisible and then see everything in the heat spectrum, so he can see you coming around the corner and then just, get ready to hit you with his sword. He took extra actions as well because he's supposed to be a very fast character on his feet. He's supposed to be able to like attack multiple times and designate different targets and so on. So I gave him that. I also gave him Wall Walker for that awesome ability to be able to just like run and like climb walls and stick to them and stuff. I gave him Leaping, 3 levels of it to be exact, so that way he can jump something like 16 yards vertically or 32 yards horizontally. So you want him in your lineup. For your fantasy football. I also gave him Parry. Now this is kind of more superhero specific because Parry is a derived statistic for every character depending on their fighting or whatever, their fighting skill. But with him, he has a like monofilament sword, so it's like the straight blade. Just think Gray Fox from like Metal Gear or something. And he doesn't have outside of his armor, he doesn't have a way to protect other people, so he uses this to basically parry for other people. He took the Protector option for it. So basically, if he's next to somebody, he can like parry for somebody else. So I kind of see him like, bullets bounce off of him, no problem. But if somebody else gets shot, he can just kind of move in and just kind of like parry the bullets out of the air with his mono blade or whatever, with blinding speed. And that's kind of like what the idea was for this guy.
Okay.
Someday he will succeed at assassinating Lon Donner.
Yes, he has a very grim purpose. So if it means, he has to kill this dude or that person or whatever, that's what he's got to do.
Jeez. All right. Thank you guys all so much introducing your characters, giving us your little origin stories. It was great. We did a really quick run through of the rules. So if you do have any questions, though, that's no problem at all. If you guys at home have any questions, no problem at all. We will just cover them. We'll play it as it goes. And I think if everyone else is ready, you ready to jump in?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I got Eric.
Yeah, let's roll.
I guess I'm ready. I might be ready. I think I'm ready.
Apprehensive Nightingale.
The Siberian is ready for anything that you might throw at him.
I would never throw
Boss.
anything at you.
No, not you. The other people's.
Oh, okay.
I was made ready.
Okay.
What are we ready for?
Hot
We are
dogs. I heard we're eating
There.
hot dogs. Is there any relish? I don't like pickles.
I don't eat meat. It hurts animals.
I mean,
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
realized the DM's in the bottom, so I'm going to switch that, Steve, but go ahead and continue. I am in your
All
spot.
this, we're an hour in. Tyler, I love you. You're amazing. You do so much work for this channel. We appreciate everything you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, with that, everyone, welcome officially to the first issue of Savage Tales, Capes of Valor.
Yay, woohoo.
Olympic City, a shining city of progress and hope, a bright metropolis that is home to nearly 10 million people. But of all the people who call Olympic City home, one citizen stands especially tall as the best known of all of the city's denizens. Not just an Olympian, the Olympian. The Olympian is a paragon of heroism in her city. She arrived a few years ago with a dazzling array of powers, from flight to super strength to energy blasts, and more powers for him to manifest as she continues to master her overall superpowers. However, the arrival of the Olympian has brought with it new challenges. Criminals, now aware the city is under the protection of the Olympian, have sought out any advantage they can, and now supervillains have arrived in Olympic City. The city is still considered safe, but every day seems more and more like it might be shifting in the favor of dastardly villains. The spider lays another strand in his web of crime, and it will soon cover the entire city. The tempest and his weather powers grow each day, along with the storm of rage within him. And a band of half-animal, half-people have terrorized everyone from park visitors to some of the wealthiest citizens of Olympic City. While their crime so far has only been theft, it seems it's only time until they turn violent or even deadly. What other villains are we yet to see threaten this city, and how will the Olympian be able to handle the influx of crime? That is where you step in. You have recently been graced with the gift of superpowers, and how these powers manifested is up to you. There was not a single unifying event that granted these powers. Was a scientific experiment gone wrong? A cotton radiation storm? A super suit, perhaps? Maybe you're a powerful occultist or magician, or perhaps the power simply existed within you all the time. Regardless of how you became a superhero, you're one now. Maybe you've made a few runs as a vigilante to test your powers. Maybe you've been waiting to see how best you could use your powers. Maybe you have a small social media following as you've taken on crime in your neighborhood. But now is the time to step up. You received a card from an unknown courier. Your powers have not gone unnoticed. Your future is great, hero, for you have been invited for an orientation. You have an opportunity to join the Olympic team. Everyone eye roll appropriately.
Is that the name of the team? Otherwise, I would like to vote for a new change.
So, again, you've been using your superpowers in whatever way you've seen fit up to this point, but you've never really branched out and taken that next step into being a big, well-known superhero. But you receive this card one day. It's from, you don't see who delivers it to you, but all it says is, again, you have the opportunity to join the orientation for the Olympic team. Please meet at the Olympic offices. This is well known to everybody in the city. The Olympic offices have their own plaza. It's just this big, massive complex in the middle of the city. Handles tons of different things. It's just one of those big business complexes that has, hundreds of different offices within it. You have your day when you're told to arrive. Again, the Olympic office is a massive complex decorated in gold, silver, and bronze accents. It is a bright spot in an already shining city. Located at the end of Gold Medal Lane, the OO sits on a massive lawn of bright and pristine green grass. Fountains displaying past champion athletes dot the complex grounds, but atop the complex, many stories above, looking down upon all that enters, the greatest champion of them all. The solid gold statue of the Olympian watches all who enter the complex. That was the last image you saw before you entered the building. It's the last anyone sees. Something about it always pulls people's eyes up, pulls them up to look at the skies above. You're welcomed by many smiling faces in business professional attire. Middle managers smile and chat between meetings to discuss quarterly earnings. Assistants break up their chatter to make sure they make their next meeting on time. A receptionist, a young man fresh out of college, greets you, welcomes you. He gives you guest pass and tells you that they're waiting for you on the 20th floor. The elevator moves fast but rides seamlessly. The soft ding of the elevator signals you've arrived. The door opens to a beautiful lobby, and once again you say hello to the receptionist, who scans your badge. Door B, please, he says. Once within, you all enter separately. And when you're there, you find 4 empty seats waiting for you. You arrive in staggered pace. Is anyone actually punctual in this group? Nightingale, you arrive first. Oh.
Unless I run into something.
I would like to point out that I am a ninja, and I rarely walk into the front entrance of a building.
So do I need to roll before we even started? Or
because it's his MO, I'm probably going to break into the building before the meeting ever happens.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So
then go invisible in the room.
So in that case, so for that, Nightingale, you arrive at the building. Let's say you do actually kind of, you fly into buildings, correct?
Among other things.
So given the description of everything, big green lawn, statues of past champions, very tall building, at least 20 stories, champion up top. How do you approach this building?
I'm gonna do my best to land in the lawn.
Okay.
In case of a crash landing. I left my house like 2 hours early to make sure, even though I only live like 30 minutes away, that I got there on time. I ran into a couple pigeons and I stopped to heal them because I accidentally broke one of them's wings, and it felt really bad. I've got mascara running down my face from crying from hurting the pigeon, and but I get there on time. The feathers sticking out of my hair.
So with one pigeon feather sticking out of her purple hair, Nightingale arrives at the Olympic offices. So you arrive first. When you arrive, the room on the 20th floor is empty, and you see 4 chairs there, empty just for you to sit in. Otherwise, this is a completely blank room, just gray and kind of dreary.
I'm so excited. I've always wanted to compete in the Olympics. I shouldn't take the chairs. What if someone else is supposed to sit in them? I'll wait.
Who wants to arrive second? I'm going to assume... Okay, so the Siberian comes in next. How do you approach the building for the most part?
He's like 10 feet tall at this point.
Okay.
but he tries to look as inconspicuous as possible by wearing like that Luke Cage sort of hoodie look.
Nice.
Just pulled over his face as much as possible.
XXXXL.
Yeah. He has to have them specially made. But his like muzzle, his maw of his cat face sort of like sticks out from under the hood. Obviously he has a tail, and he can't put on shoes, so his big ass balls are coming out the bottom of his sweatsuit. So, and he has to like duck to get into doorways and everything. So he just stands up with like his hands in his hoodie, in the hoodie pocket in the front, and like, yes, I'm the Siberian. I've arrived for trials.
Please tell me you're actually wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah, he wears tracksuits.
Amazing. So each time you talk to one of the receptionists as you get there, they look up, and then they look up, and then they look up.
Yes,
Hi.
The Siberian.
Oh, and then after they figure out you're 10 feet tall, they're able to scan you in. So you go to the elevator and you get in.
I would like to request our first scene modification. It's raining and it smells like a wet cat in here now.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. You go to get into the elevator and you have to like duck and like kind of go sideways.
Here's what happens.
Okay.
He tries to like get in and then just is like all scrunched. Hits the door open button and like crawls back out. Goes up to the front desk. The Siberian requests that he use the freight elevator.
Special access.
The receptionist kind of looks at you and looks at the nice elevators in the marble room. I believe that can be arranged, sir, yes.
Thank you.
And they give you directions to the back to the freight elevator.
Okay, take it up. Obviously I can find the room, I imagine, so kind of like hunches in and stands up, pulls back his hoodie and just kind of stands there looking around. Is there a bunch of people in here, or is it just Nightingale here?
So when you get into the lobby, it's just the receptionist. They direct you to room B, and Nightingale. You're in the room. You have not taken your seat yet. You've kind of just been, looking around, anxious. The door opens, and a 10-foot tall white tiger steps in.
Hi, are you here to see the vet? I think you're in the wrong building.
No, the Siberian is here for Olympic tryouts.
Who's the Siberian?
This one is.
Oh, I guess that would make sense. I'm sorry.
Nah,
I don't know.
It's fine.
But there's 4 seats. But you look rather large. You might want to sit on the table.
Good call. Is there a snack table? The Siberian is sort of famished.
Oh, I wouldn't be very good eating, but I guess if you cooked me, I'd be like fried chicken. Please don't eat me.
The Siberian doesn't know how to answer that question, but he just looks around for a catering table.
You walk back out into the lobby, and they tell you that they can procure you a snack of some sort. Do you have a request?
May I have snack too?
Raw meat.
The little girl, she would like. What would you like? What would you like?
Well, okay. So my mom raised me on sugar and milk and cookies and lettuce and all good things that make people happy.
Holy shit!
Before we go any further, Nightingale, you're getting a Benny.
I was gonna ask you, are we all supposed to have 3 to begin with?
Yes, everyone starts with 3 bennies.
Yeah, she'll take cookies and milk, and the Siberian will have a ham and cheese sandwich.
You eat meat?
Yeah, I'm a tiger.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
After
you don't eat meat?
No.
Okay, I'll take an Impossible Whopper.
Yeah, actually, just not to upset the little girl, I will have Impossible ham sandwich.
No, it's okay. You can eat meat. You're a kitty.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Milk.
The Siberian will have ham sandwich, but not meat ham sandwich. You figured that out.
You're so sweet.
The receptionist takes your order. A few minutes pass. They come back with vegan ham sandwich.
That just tastes terrible.
This is an atrocity.
Cookies and whatever non-dairy milk you like the most. They just happen to guess
Soy
it
milk.
correctly. Soy or almond, one of the
Coconut.
Coconut milk. Cookies and coconut milk.
Leans up against the wall, eating his sandwich.
After that, I'm going to. We'll say Eric arrives last because he's doing the ninja thing. Tyler, how do you arrive at the OO?
So they're sitting in there in the room. The door opens, and this is a big room, right?
It's not a mass. The room
It's
being
like a
where they're
conference
waiting.
room?
It's actually kind of more like a conference room with 4 chairs put into it. But it doesn't have it doesn't have like a main table. It's just the chairs, and it's a gray, like dreary room.
So, if it has more than one light, they go off one at a time with a click noise. And then only the one above the door comes back on, and I'm just sort of standing there. I have a cane. It's got a ram's head. Looks like it's made out of silver. Cane itself is a little long for a cane. It's like 3 feet long. And it's made out of some kind of intricately carved petrified wood or metal. You can't tell. The character himself is wearing a crisp black shirt with really fancy cufflinks, a black sweater vest that looks really thick, and he's got one of those old-time trench coats that had the tails and drags on the ground a little bit, like you see in dystopias, except it's also black, but the color popped like Doctor Strange. He has a cravat on, a cravat, of course, black one poofing out in the middle. His whole neck is covered. His hair is greased back and very slick and black. And if you've seen Hunger Games, the first or second, I think it was the first Games Master with the really awesome jagged beard, that's what he's got. Those weird holes. It's like Tony's only creepy. Iron Man's only creepy. And he looks around the room, squints a little bit, reaches into his pocket, pulls out those old-timey glasses that have really round frames that you actually have to put over your ears. He puts them on,
Wow.
looks around,
Good for
tips his hat at you, which is an old-timey bowler hat.
Cool.
Hey, Dracula called. He wants his outfit back. Just kidding. You look real sharp there.
You turned Jamaican, like what?
I wasn't gonna say it.
He walks over.
It can go either way sometimes. Yeah.
He walks over to Nightingale, takes your hand all French style, almost but not quite kisses it, and says, "My lady, Dr. Caligno at your service."
Oh, you are so sweet. I bet I can guess your favorite color.
The
try.
Siberian.
I bet it's pink.
Very close. It is in fact a pastel. He turns and looks at you, considers shaking hands with you, opts not to, and sits in a chair.
I don't know if those chairs are for us or someone else, so I haven't been sitting in them. Would you like a cookie?
I could in fact eat a biscuit. Is there any tea?
I don't know.
He takes
But
the
I
cookie.
have milk.
He takes the cookie and eats it.
He eats it like a gentleman.
He does eat it like a gentleman. Also, he never blinks. Ever.
I just can't get over all the lights go off except for the one over the door. So I'm imagining the panel where you actually first appear is just like a harsh spotlight.
Exactly.
And you're just posed like with the cane, like just
Nailed it.
Very nice.
It's very anime.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So the three of you were in the room. Been a couple of minutes kind of chit-chatting, not quite sure exactly what, you know that you're here for the orientation for the Olympic team, really excited for that, maybe not, depending on how you feel about something like that. X, where are you?
On the ceiling. waiting.
So, on the ceiling in the room? Okay.
Invisible, waiting.
You have completely infiltrated. You obviously have not logged in with any of the reception. Although I do kind of want you at the front desk. Just getting your ID badge.
I'm here from the future.
Walks back out, then breaks in.
Ticket for one, please.
Oh God, yes.
It's just like a man-shaped shimmer, but his hand is reaching. His hand is visible and reaching for the ID tag.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Attendant's like,
We have a convenient break-in entrance for all you superheroes who like to pretend you're a secret.
break in here. Don't break the glass, please.
Yeah,
we already
no,
unlocked it for
There's
you.
a glass that'll satisfy your need to sneak into a place.
gonna
You just press the
one-
button and it'll slide open.
One window is sugar glass. It's fine.
Yeah, that's precisely for
Over
those
all the-
extra superheroes.
I just hope Nightingale doesn't fly into that one.
Ooh.
Oh,
No. So you were, you did the X thing. You, future ninja, you definitely are able to infiltrate this place and climb up to everywhere. So you've kind of just been clinging to the top of the roof the entire time.
you're like in the corner, in between the corner and like the wall, and just kind of perched there like this, just invisible and waiting, watching.
Do you eventually do like the shimmer to kind of alert that you're there, or are you going to present yourself?
I wait for the perfect moment to introduce myself.
Okay.
Like, wait, there's 4 chairs and there's only 3 of us. Where's the 4th person? And then they just hear a voice from above them.
So you three are talking to each other. Someone makes that comment about the 3 chairs, 4 chairs, and commenting at the paws on the Siberian. They're quite big.
Yeah.
And what does X say?
There is a 30% chance that this meeting is a trap. There is a 43% probability that you are the people necessary for me to accomplish my mission. There is also a 27% chance that one of you is a spy here to foil me.
Oh my
These
God!
odds
I don't have any
are.
foil.
These odds are acceptable. And he just kind of decloaks, and then you just see like the red shimmer of like the eye, the one central eye on like the face, featureless face, black chrome head to toe, and he's just kind of like there on the wall.
Whoa.
The Siberian thought it smelled like cybernetic ninja in here.
And it has a smell.
Yes. Smells like very solid metal.
Does X want a cookie?
He
Does
just
he?
stares.
Your eye looks really red. Do you want some nuts?
It was made that way.
I carefully study you while I prepare my glass of absinthe. I have to spoon the sugar in the fancy glass somehow.
You have sugar?
I reach in one of my many pockets and I've got one of those boxes where it's like 90 cubes. I offer you a cube.
Thank you.
Just eating pure sugar.
Like this.
Honey and milk. That's
So
why our wings are white.
The red eye narrows.
Oh, I was not prepared for this. This is amazing.
Sorry, I missed that. Your actual angel?
Well, I think so. Unless I'm an alien. Or what if you're aliens? Or what if he's an alien? Oh, so many things to think about.
I walk up
I
to
might
the
be a
Siberian.
bird.
What?
I walk up to the Siberian and I say, "My good man, one of my many degrees is in biomorphology, and I was wondering if I could examine your fur. Anthropomorphic mutations are fascinating."
Sure.
You should probably do that in a private room. It's really rude to examine
I
other
pet the
people
kitty.
in front of Kitty.
All Siberian tigers are extinct from the future, where I'm from.
Oh, that's really sad.
Oh yeah, that's down. That's a downer.
What about Andrew?
I am petting the kitty.
Okay.
He's purring a little bit.
So,
Uncontrollable purring.
okay. So, the scene is, if I am understanding this correctly, Nightingale sucking on sugar cubes while commenting about not wanting to. Right, so people should be examined in the private rooms. X is commenting on extinction of the Siberian tigers.
Just bringing the whole goddamn room down.
All while Dr. Eventide pets the Siberian
And
the
uses
Siberian
really big
purrs.
words in the string.
Okay. So it's about this time. The door slides open, and in walks a blonde-haired woman with her hair kind of up in a bun with like a pencil through it. She walks in very nice business attire. She has a clipboard on her. And they're like, thank you all for arriving at mostly the times that we thought you would. You are perfect. That's a great first step. Thank you all so much. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Allison. Thank you so much. I'm the head of team development and marketing here for the OO. So if you don't mind, if you haven't taken a seat, please go ahead and do so.
Oh, I get to take the seat?
Had to be somebody.
You may have a seat in that you may sit in it.
Oh,
For
okay.
the time being.
I'll do that. I thought they
I
went
am
with someone
sitting.
else.
Oh, no, these chairs are for you this afternoon.
Oh, thank you.
Very
Hey,
well.
I think the least qualified Olympic sport that I'd be good at would be swimming.
She jots that down on her notepad.
I sit
Well-
between Nightingale and the Siberian tiger, taking notes in an old-fashioned notebook with a quill tip pen about his tail and her wings.
You can touch my wings, just be careful. There's some erogenous zones on some of them.
Fascinating. More notes.
The Siberian tries to sit down in a chair.
There is now only a 20% chance that one of you is a spy.
Oh my god! I just realized that he's doing the can thing!
Yes! Yes! Super throwback.
Oh, that's awesome.
We played in a game many years ago where someone used a can to get that robotic voice, and thank you so much for bringing that back, Eric. You're a good man. She kind of looks at the Siberian struggling with the chair, and she's just like, "That's an oversight. I apologize. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I can get a chair that would meet your stature."
Siberian will just sit on the floor.
You're very accommodating. Thank you
You
so
could just
much.
use mine. Like
And-
play out or something.
He
Says you're
lay
very
across
accommodating, and
the
she
table
takes a
in
note.
sunbeam.
I'm sorry.
He could lay across the table in a sunbeam.
She looks at the conference table. She looks at him, and you can see she's glaring at his fur and claws. If you don't mind, the floor would probably be the better option.
That's discrimination. I'm calling PETA.
Don't call them, they're assholes.
Oh. If an animal says so, then it must be true.
PETA is declared a terrorist organization in the 2060s.
I pour another absinthe.
It's gonna be a long night.
Green drink is so pretty.
She is just jotting down everything you guys are saying and doing.
I offer you some.
No, thank you. It's got alcohol.
And 3 sugar cubes.
Sugar cubes. She takes a sip.
Oh,
It's like 90% wormwood.
so
Kitty
once again,
stripes are moving. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, no problem at all. Once again, my name is Allison Warden, again, head of team development marketing here for OO, and I will be conducting your orientation this afternoon. Is it Nightingale? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Are you okay, dear?
I'm fine.
Oh, perfect.
To both of you.
Oh, good. Me and my sister are happy.
Yay.
Okay. This is going great.
You're great. And I love you.
Oh. Well, thank you so much.
She leans against the kitty.
But about today's orientation, I just wanted to let you know. Just wanted to let you all know that there will consist of an individual interview, group interview, and an active strategy session. Now, luckily, the individual interview was essentially your arrival here at the facilities. Took extensive notes and were able to monitor you. X, very, very impressive. Group interview has also mostly been conducted at this point in time to see how you all interact with each other. So far, very impressive, no fights. You'd be shocked how often that happens.
People fight? Well, that's not nice.
You know, you put tights and a cape on somebody and they just want to start throwing punches.
I guess it's because tights crush balls.
Oh,
She takes a note.
more room in the garage area.
So, if you don't mind, we just have a few questions for you. Very quickly. Does anybody... 42? This is
42.
This is
He's
your...
right, you know.
Is this your tight size?
No, I'm just the
No,
Siberian
42
is
is the
answering
answer
the
to
question.
life, the universe, and everything.
Exactly.
He's at least
Everyone
a 60.
knows that.
42.
42.
42.
I see.
I'm
She has
the size
no
of a
idea.
Nimbus cloud.
She has no idea what you're referencing.
Just write it down.
She jots it down in her notes.
All right.
Pretends to.
Sizes exist to oppress the obese and the extra skinny.
Where is the Olympian?
That is an excellent question, X. So
He's so smart.
amongst other things I've noticed, the Olympian is not here. The Olympian will not be joining us today. The Olympian has many, many things she is currently taking care of, and unfortunately, she can't make an appearance at every single interview that's happening today. I do apologize.
37% chance that this is a trap.
All right. He keeps saying that question.
Yes.
The Siberian would like to know, is this a trap?
Is this a trap? Exactly.
Is it?
If by trap you mean we're looking for the best possible candidates to form our first Olympic team that will assist the Olympian in their superhero pursuits, then yes, this is a trap. If you don't mean that, it's not.
When you say
Yes,
Olympic
this is a trap.
team, do you need my citizenship papers, or am I going to register as my alter ego? How is that going to work with the Olympic Committee?
Well, yes. So, upon the decision of hire for the Olympic team, it will go through all of the onboarding processes and make sure that we get all of your proper information, that we can put you down for the appropriate, benefits packages, retirement packages.
We get benefits?
Oh, yes. The Olympic team comes with many, many great employment benefits. We offer a very competitive package.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Just Siberian is very good at weightlifting, if you're considering what we're best at. Just
Okay, so this Olympic team does not compete in the sporting Olympics. You will be a superhero team designed to...
Oh, that clears up so much. I only have 2 questions now.
Well, I guess I don't have to worry about swimming.
Sure. She writes that down.
Can't swim.
So again, any other questions for me at this time? I apologize if there's any confusion in regard to that.
Would you like a cookie or maybe some of that gentleman's tasty sugar green Kool-Aid stuff?
I'm on my third glass. I'm unaffected.
Thank you, Nightingale. I appreciate the offer, but no, I had lunch today, and cookies in the middle of the day just don't seem appropriate.
Okay, can I give you a hug?
After the interview?
Is it the middle of the day? Or I kind of imagine this as being nighttime for some reason.
No, middle of the day, afternoon meeting.
That's just because I'm here, and when I'm here, it's always shady, gloomy afternoon, nighttime.
It is. So here's
the
image to help develop the image is being laid out here. You're all obviously kind of out of place here because this is like high corporate like setting. She is like head of team development, quote unquote. She has this completely made up like business title. She's talking about employment and benefits. You're in a corporate office building. Like everything about this is very corporatized, and despite you all being a weird shadow guy, a future ninja, a giant tiger from Jacksonville, and Nightingale.
I'm my own category.
For some reason you're here, but it does, it is as corporate as it can possibly get, and that would include working during business hours. So
I can wear my business wings.
Whatever you feel comfortable in that can be easily branded will be fine.
I feel better naked, but that's frowned upon.
That would be a problem in regard to the youth audience and the ability to get coverage on the team.
We're gonna have an audience?
Oh yes, we're hopefully be able to market this to many different demographics.
Wow, that's amazing. Maybe I can teach children not to eat animals.
Animals also going extinct around 2075.
All of them.
She kind of looks at you and she's like, "Oh,
you're such a buzzkill."
Is there anything good in the future?
No, that's why I'm here.
Like, no cotton candy or just candy?
Nothing is real in the future.
Not even cookies?
Everything is substitute.
Fuck.
It's already begun. And he kind of looks over to like the soy milk that's in her hands and stuff. It's like
While all of this is happening, I'm looking at the window and I'm making the light levels go up and down, like I'm bored.
So the back of the panel just has like bright window, dark window,
Yes.
bright window, dark window. The doctor's in the back like. So she goes, at this point, I think, we've all interacted quite a bit. I really appreciate all of your time. I just have a couple of really quick questions here. We can get through these and we can go on to the next stage of the interview and really get into the meat of it all and really see what we all have to offer each other. Just really quickly, does anybody have a tragic backstory or a lost sidekick or a partner that died in their arms or anything that might make them overall untrustworthy of teamwork? Nightingale, yes?
I ran into a pigeon on the way over here and I accidentally broke its wing. I'm so sorry, I'm not fit for this team.
Holy shit, that's dark.
Fix it!
I look her right in the eye, no blinking, no facial twitch, no bald-faced lie.
Okay, perfect. She doesn't challenge it at all. Like,
I was technically fired from my last job as an animal keeper.
It's really shocking.
Funny you should say that. The Siberian was actually struck by lightning next to radioactive waste. And then you get this.
Nice!
wow.
She's like, interesting. Struck by lightning in Jacksonville with radioactivity turns you into a tiger.
Yes.
Takes a note.
I
Don't
explain it to her. It takes,
That's
it takes
private
90
information.
seconds. None of the words are English. They are, but they're not.
She blinks. She blinks again. Thank you, Doctor.
He's very helpful.
X, anything from you? I'm just gonna put down slight tragic backstory, but will operate in a team. Is that okay? I'm just gonna put that down.
That was the best. That was the best. Just no words. Just stare.
Hey, do you
He's
have
a man
sword?
of many words.
Snake
Like,
Eyes, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Is your sword a laser? Just curious. Just curious.
It's on his back.
You should never ask another man about his sword. That's very
He's got a sword. I was just
Rude.
looking to see. All right.
You're amused by swords, Siberian? Observe. I unscrew my cane, and out comes the sword made of darkness. It's like the dark saber.
That really
that's
takes
really
too
cool.
long to draw to be of any use in a battle.
I don't know. I mean, it probably takes like a round.
I'm like,
His hands are
it's
covered
highly
in bacon
effective.
grease.
Observe, and right in front of the HR lady, I cut the table in half.
Oh
And
my
then I put the
god.
sword back away.
Her eyes kind of go wide, and she's like, my table.
And then I'm like, oh, it's fine. And I power trick it back together with darkness. So now it's got a black line that leaks shadows, but it's attacking it.
My
cool.
table!
Thing I've ever seen.
Really neat. It really enhances that table. Now X is just gonna say something that's just gonna bring that table down.
She flipped.
40% chance that this is a trap. 40% probability that you are the people necessary to accomplish my mission. 20% chance that one of you is a spy.
Did you say 1%? I feel like that's
20.
20.
It
Wait, no,
might
1%
be.
word.
She flips like 5 or 6 pages on the clipboard to a
Oh, hey,
brand
you're
new
from the
sheet-
future.
From the sheet, and she looks right at the doctor, and she just kind of like makes a couple of scratch marks.
How does
And
the
then
Siberian
he looks
die?
over
Just
at
curious.
X kind of turns his head slowly to the Siberian and he's like, I'm from the 90s.
I don't
The
get-
2090s.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the 1990s, which is when like my favorite superhero existed.
Oh yeah.
I just look back at her without blinking. 5th class.
Can I
gonna
have
run
another
out,
sugar
man.
cube?
Well,
I give you another sugar cube.
if everybody is comfortable with the interview process, I think we're good here. I think we can move on to the next stage, the next step. So I'm gonna go back out into the lobby with Corey, and we'll be watching on monitors to kind of see how you're able to work together in certain.
Who's Gory?
Corey is the
Yeah.
receptionist, my assistant.
Oh,
And he-
your assistant's really nice.
Oh, thank you. I'll let him know that you said
And so are you. Can I give you that hug now?
Doesn't really know
that.
how
No,
to
at
make a
Nightingale, you
sandwich.
can come. It's okay. She gives you like a very corporate hug, like it's very
Not
cold
actually
and
touching.
kind of, yeah, like she's just like, oh yes, okay, thank you. And she's like, I'll just be stepping outside there. There's a door on the other end of the room. If you just step right through there, you'll see your first group activity.
Yeah,
Is it an
icebreakers.
escape room? I'm good at those. Well, not really.
She kind of looks at you with that question. Sure, it's kind of an escape room. And she walks out.
Yay.
Okay, and with that, the door closes behind her. You're still in the conference room, but there's a door on the other side that unlatches and kind of opens.
X,
Wow.
perhaps you could look in there and tell us the percentage that that's a trap.
I'm just
I
gonna
don't have
guess.
to look to know
Let's
it's
just
100% a test.
I was about to say 100% trap, definitely.
If you guys are scared, I'll go in first and make sure nothing's there to hurt
No.
you.
I switch on like infravision mode, like just like see if there's any heat signatures coming from the hallway.
Wow.
So there's no hallway. this room is directly attached to whatever the next room is. As soon as you step through the door, you're going to be in the next room.
Okay, I just look through the opening then to see if there's any heat signatures coming from inside.
It's a warehouse-sized empty room.
Oh shit! Okay.
Built into this complex, like into this office building.
He kind of jumps off like, and then lands on his feet perfectly. Superhero pose, you know. He's got the sword on his back and stuff, and he just kind of like has his hand ready on it, and he's like scanning back and forth like this as he walks into the large room.
That's pretty impressive. That guy's kind of cool. The downer.
Yeah,
business.
it's almost like he's a ninja.
Yeah.
While they're talking, I just stand there, and very slowly I fade away like I'm the illusion, and all that's left is the shadow of me, which then follows him into the room.
By the way, great to meet you all. He kind of like ducks under and just sort of like gets into the next room.
So all four of you step in. It's dim, but not completely dark. If you have any sort of dark vision, you can see perfectly fine. It is just, in fact, a big empty warehouse-sized room. And then a grid, like lights start to appear that form a grid across the entire way. Think like old school Danger Room or the Imaginarium from Community, like that style from, you know, everything. And it just like starts slow pulsing, and the room just starts to light up completely on that grid format.
Do I recognize the tech in this room in particular?
You know what? That's a really good question. Give me a give me a notice roll. We'll have our first roll of the game, everybody.
Yay!
I'm so excited. We're gonna be at a raid.
I rolled a 7 on my wild die and a 4
Okay.
on my main die.
So Eric rolled his 2 die. On his wild die, he got a 7, so that's his better of the 2 results. So that's the number that he goes with. With that 7, you are able to determine that this kind of, you go through sort of some data banks and like look back through different technology you may have to scan through, and this does appear to be early 21st century technology, proprietary to the Olympic Committee, which is not the Olympic Committee we know in this world. The Olympic Committee in this is going to be a committee of people in Olympic City who kind of oversee, commerce and government, things like that. It's a very powerful, rich group here. One of the strongest institutions in the city, proprietary to them.
21st century technology, Olympic group. Running a search. Mirage. What are the probabilities that the Olympic group is tied with Yokono Corporation?
She gives you a full detailed list of all of the future progression of this company through different shell companies, liquidations, foreclosures, bankruptcies over the next however many years it takes. And it doesn't, in any immediate sense of right now, have any ties to anything super nefarious. Somewhere down the line,
probabilities.
Somewhere down the line, it may be acquired by someone technically evil, super evil, but right now it's just owned by the Olympic Committee, who are not evil.
He starts adjusting his probabilities in his head, like
just meters, like just going on.
Trap, not a trap. Trap, not a trap.
As you're doing that, and as you're looking around, and he's giving you this information, pillars start coming out of the ground, and it's like, and they just start forming one by one all the way down the length of the room. Imagine, let's say it's 4 pillars across and 10 pillars down with 10 feet between each one. And so it's just this big kind of rectangular room, and just there's now all these pillars that are kind of creating obstacles or cover or things like that in the room. And the 4 of you are standing there grouped up together, and you hear zzz, 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 and this robot, about regular person size, about 6 feet tall, regular build, kind of walks up to you and kind of looks, and then its eyes turn red. It's like, testing beginning. and it goes into the combat pose.
Usually icebreakers are like a puzzle or something.
Maybe
seems
it is
So
a
this
puzzle.
is where it begins.
Maybe
Good.
we have to teach it how to be a friend.
That's a good call.
Friendship is magic, don't you know?
I don't know. How do you think about that comment?
I'm not gonna lie, I already love the dynamic between Nightingale and Siberian specifically, because like everything you say, he's like, "Damn, that's not a bad idea."
There is a 100% chance that you will not be able to assuade this robotic thing into your to be your friend
That's really sad. How do you know for sure?
from the future.
Only Sith cyborgs deal in absolutes.
Oh my god, he's
Future is
sick.
absolute.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Star Wars themed. It wasn't a
That would explain the sword.
Dr. Caligno's
You got
like,
a laser sword.
Dr. Caligno's like, Star Wars? No, and explains to you the actual meaning of the word Sith, history with big words.
Yeah.
Sword out.
It's very much a downer.
Ready pose.
So,
Oh, did it just auto draw us?
Did.
Cool.
It sure did.
So
Dang.
that's one of the great things about Savage Worlds in Roll20 is you can build out a little turn order thing with all of your characters. We have a little deck down here. They can't see my screen, but I'm hovering my cursor over our action deck. And then I can just select deal, and then I can deal a card to everybody inside the turn order specifically, and then I can order them in descending order for suits and value.
Dope.
And I can just keep doing this every round and keep the initiative going. So, with that said, Killer Robot comes up before you, goes into combat pose, and catches you off guard, and actually takes aim. It takes aim at the biggest target in front of it.
Don't like that.
look out, Sibby.
Oh crap.
Oh, crap, he meant me. Yes, that's right. Aha! He pulls up his hand, and he runs up and actually goes to like do this like spinning, jumping kick at you. It's not as impressive as anything necessarily you've seen X do, but it's obviously a robot built to try to like kick through. So he comes in. Ooh, and first enemy roll of the game is an ace, which means he's rolling that again for a total of 17. Does a 17 hit your parry value?
Yeah, that definitely hits my parry value.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh no.
Sublisha.
Actually, I'm going to use this instead. Ooh, he deals 9 damage. What is that in comparison to your toughness?
No.
What,
I have
what
a
is
10
your
toughness.
You have a 10 toughness? Okay.
Yeah.
So this thing runs up, does this jump back spin kick, and lands this perfect like kick into your chest, and it just stops in midair. And it's just like crunch, and you kind of hear like some of the servos like kind of come to a halt like really quickly, and then it drops down in front of you, and it's like zzz, and kind of like reanalyzes the situation. And it is now the Siberian's turn.
Siberian's going to do his best to like return kick fancy like, but just it's not great. And,
I just see him doing this. Arm off.
and then he's just gonna like punch it squaw in the face.
Okay.
But you fake kick him.
Ooh,
Oh shit!
damn.
Yeah.
So you answer his 17 back with an 11 of your own, which definitely hits him.
Okay.
What
Gotta get-
5 billion damage do you do?
Let's see. Shoot. You know what?
Did you take the attack power? Melee attack?
Well, I have lots of strength, which is see here. 1 second.
That's kind of specifically like, oh yeah, if you have natural weapons and stuff like that, that's you could take that.
9 damage.
Nice.
9 damage.
Oops. Damage of 1.
You come in.
10 total.
So he comes in, he does a little backspin kick, he hits your chest, it doesn't do any damage to you, and he kind of just connects, stops short, falls down, repositions, looks at you, cocks its head, and then you do your really bad form also backspin kick. So a 10-foot tall white Siberian tiger does like a jumping back kick, and it doesn't kick the robot so much as he just kind of lands on the robot, and the robot just breaks beneath him.
Oh my
Nice.
god. Smash.
You did so good. Kitties are so good at pouncing.
Impressive technology, but ultimately primitive.
I mean, the Siberian's
doing
just a
their
very
best.
large cat, you know.
So this robot is destroyed, and you kind of get the impression like that was weird that it just kind of came up, and then you hear more zzz, 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 and you can see from the back of the room now a group of these are starting to come towards you. It actually looks like 4 different groups of them are coming at you.
Whoa, damn.
That's a lot of robots.
This is the test.
I'm really proud of you, Siberian. That was a really gorgeous jump.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you squished it. You made a dead thing. You're such a good kitty.
You
Hey.
made it dead.
I see what you're doing there.
What?
Ooh, we have our first Joker of the game.
Oh
What?
shit.
So-
Oh shit.
4 groups are to come to you, and it looks like 4 groups of 4 robots are starting to kind of come from the back of the room, and they get within general range of you, striking range, and you all take position again. Night Hunt, it is your turn. They're spread out kind of like in a way where they're not all bunched up together. They're trying to kind of like come in a way that they can kind of maybe come at all 4 of you.
I will hit as many as I can with a large burst effect.
Okay.
All the shadows in the room start grabbing them and disassembling them.
Nice.
Okay.
They
No-
need to
no
make
problem.
a bigger roll at -2.
A bigger roll. -2. A 3.
I don't know
Oh,
what
man.
that means.
That means they failed.
That means they fail. Most
Right.
Yeah.
So damage, yes. I didn't put a damage on this, so I'll just have to roll damage manually. I'll do that before the next one.
Okay.
So they all take 6 damage, and I'm going to add a power effect because I have an edge lets me do that without a penalty to the roll or a bonus to the roll. Power stunt. In this case, it lowers all of their parries by 2 until their turn.
Okay. So 6. So you deal 6 damage to them. In that the shadows start coming in and start grabbing the robots and trying to like rip them apart. And you get a large burst there, and you're actually able to hit an entire group of 4 with that. But unfortunately, as the shadows come in and grab them, they're kind of able to fight back and pull themselves out from the shadows, but they're kind of distracted by the shadows. So you're able to shake them, but not actually destroy them.
You're doing such a good job, Night Haunt. Your shadows are so pretty.
Ma'am.
Okay. For area attacks, remember that evasion now exists. We'll do that in the future. Actually, I apologize. I just remembered. You have a Joker. That means everybody, Sarah and everybody at home, Jokers do actually have an effect in combat that we can discuss. So Tyler has already done his move, but Jokers technically give you the option to hold your action and then actually do your action any point in the initiative, including interrupting other characters, player characters or enemy characters. Normally, when you hold an action, you have to wait between people's turns to be able to do something. This allows you to literally cut people off in whatever it is that they're doing. What it also does is it adds +2 to your attack and damage that round if you're attacking somebody, which means that 6 that Tyler dealt is actually an 8, which means they're not just stunned. All 4 of those robots, at first they're fighting them off. They're kind of like, no, we've got this, we're just distracted. And then the first one kind of gets grabbed by its right arm and its left leg and just pulled in half. And then the shadows just start ripping all 4 of these robots apart.
That's cool. It's my new favorite card.
We're gonna say it was that. Next goes first group of killer robots. This set of killer robots is going to rush. It's going to rush X.
Right.
They think, another robot. We will defeat him. So they come in and they are able to make attacks.
All right.
Do your best, X. I bet it's short for Xavier.
My character was going to be like, is that spelled ECKS?
So all 4 of them come up, try to kind of dogpile you and kind of like swarm you all at once. Does a 7 hit your parry?
No.
So you're just there with your microblade and you're just parrying off all of their attacks and like deflecting. And you just see sparks flying off as his like sword is hitting their metal arms. And these things are coming into, they've got this like, this fighting combat form. So they're throwing like actual attacks at him, and X is just effortlessly deflecting everything that they do. And it is X's turn.
My turn. He kind of he takes the monoblade and he tries to like cut one of them in half with it, and with the other action, he reaches out with his interface, like inside of his arm or whatever, like this little coil slips out and tries to like jack into an opening on the robot to try to see if he could reprogram one of them.
Okay. So just to clarify, do you want to attack and attempt to hack one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have extra actions.
You have
I
extra
could do
action.
an extra action without a penalty, so
Perfect.
I'll take my attack first.
Before you do that, sorry.
Fighting.
Yeah, we'll do fighting and then we'll do the hacking. But before you roll, just to clarify everybody at home and to Sarah, with this game, you can do multiple actions. Is just that each additional action that you declare you're going to do puts a -2 on everything that you're going to do that round. So if you wanted to attack twice, you can. It's just both attacks have a -2 to them. If you want to attack 3 times, you can. All attacks have a -4. So with each of those additional actions, up to 3 total actions, you can take those negatives. You have to declare multi-actions before doing anything though. So that's the normal way you multi-action in this game. But X has the edge that allows him to do that second action at no penalty. So go ahead and roll your fighting first.
That's cool.
Yeah, it allows you to kind of like be creative with different stuff that you want to do. Yeah.
Rules clarification for anyone watching who might not know. Does that mean his third attack is at -2, or does it jump straight to -4?
Every action that turn has the same negative, which is the highest.
The
one.
highest.
So
Yep.
right,
Okay.
yes. So yeah, so so if you had a normal multi-action penalty for 3 attacks, every attack you're doing has a -4 to it. Okay. You got a 6.
Yeah, that was the highest. Yeah.
For the fighting, yeah. So kind of the same, kind of right back to you. You're defending and deflecting really well, But unfortunately, when you go to strike, they kind of are copying your moves, not to any like weird degree, but they're able to kind of analyze what you're doing, and they kind of deflect your sword away from them. But you then come in with your arm and you try to like stick it into like one of their heads and take them over.
I'm thinking this might be a thievery skill because I have the interface ability, which it says you can interface with electronic gadgets and stuff like that. I have a codebreaker option, which allows me to open electronic blocks, bypass security systems, override similar protection devices without any tools. It requires it required lock picking roll, which is thievery in this edition, and it grants a +4 bonus to it. It takes 1d6 rounds to bypass the system, or half that time on a raise. So depending on how well I roll, it might be like almost instantaneous, or it might take several rounds for it to like go for the robot to be like completely take it over or whatever.
Okay, no problem. So how we'll do that is we will go ahead and we'll do a thievery roll for that to see if you can like actually start stabbing into it and trying to take it over. We'll see what you get. If you get that raise, we'll deal with that. And then if it's going to take you multiple rounds to do it, if you take damage while doing it, it'll just have to be like a spirit roll to maintain that contact with the robot.
Okay, makes sense.
Cool.
Wow. I got a 12.
That's so if savage rolls, that's called a fuck it, you did it roll. Your arm comes up, slams out, goes right into its head and connects right into like its central like processor, and you just instantly like it's way old tech. It's not old tech, but like to you, it's just old enough that you just crack through all of its firewalls and just and then its eyes go from red to blue. This is a comic book. That's how that works. And you have one of those robots under your control.
Cool. I send it to punch the other one.
Okay. Perfect.
Bonk.
It is another group of killer robots' turns. This is another group of 4 that's going to start going after poor little Nightingale.
Oh no.
Oh no, I never did anything to hurt you. Why do you want to hurt me?
Testing mode activated. Must see abilities.
Oh, okay, I suppose that's fair.
On your sheet, does a 7 hit your parry?
Really hurt?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I only have a 4 for parry.
That's no problem. Looks like you're relatively easy to hit, but you're tough, so that's okay.
That's how it's built.
Yeah. So they do come in and they do start throwing all of these, again, robot ninja kicks at you and strikes and things like that. And Nightingale's like trying to block them.
You better watch it, mister.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
What's a 3 compared to your toughness, Nightingale?
A joke.
It's dead in the middle, and you want to read the third column of
The third column?
Yeah.
Current?
Yeah.
Okay, 11.
Wow. You have a 11 toughness?
She is tougher than I am. Holy shit.
So am I.
Wow. You're
she's
tough
a
as
Poor
me.
Siberian.
She's a goddamn celestial.
Ew,
Sense?
my diet growing up, milk, cookies, sugar, vegetables. It was the vegetables.
And they come in, and even though your technique, for blocking is
Ow.
nothing, they're
Ow.
It's like they're punching and kicking her, and she's like, "Oh no!" And then the leg breaks on her arm, like.
That one tickled. Don't kick me there.
Don't kick me there.
not gonna get through this.
No means no, robot.
And with that, the next one comes in to attack the last remaining unroboted adventurer, the Siberian.
No, that would be me. You already did.
Yeah,
that.
No,
Siberian is next in initiative, though.
no. What happened was the one attacked the Siberian,
Right.
but then there were 4 groups of 4, and Tyler obliterated.
Oh,
an
I
entire
blew my
one
crew
by
up, right.
himself.
Oh, right.
I forgot I blew up one of my group, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Kaboom.
Shadow Warrior.
Does a 9 hit the Siberian?
It does actually. Wait,
Oh,
does it?
I don't know. Do it.
Yeah, it does. My parry's low, my toughness is high.
Okay. Higher, but not higher than 11.
No, apparently not. Apparently, I need to redo my stuff.
What is an 8? You have a toughness of 10, right?
Correct.
Okay, so this once again comes in, and these robots are kind of just wailing at you, but unfortunately they just can't get through your thick Siberian hide.
Okay, cool.
And it's your turn now.
Okay, so the Siberian's just like, look, these. He goes and like bounds up, like leaps up real high, and then comes down with like just a tiger punch on top of one of them. This will be a 2-action thing.
Tiger!
So.
You're the king. The Tiger King. Wait.
Oh, damn, missed. That sucks.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Wait, that didn't look like it rolled right, did it?
No, yeah, you rolled
Hover
2
over it,
threes.
it'll tell you the formula.
If you rolled a 3, you got a +1. Same. Well, you rolled the same exact thing on 2 different dice.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's unfortunate.
Bogus. All right, I missed that time.
You have 3 bennies.
I do have
And
3
it's getting late
bennies.
into the evening.
I'm gonna blow a Benny, and can I re-roll that? Is
You
that how that works?
absolutely can. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Come on.
Mm.
No!
Ooh.
Question, does he take the better of the 2 rolls, or he has to take the new roll?
I believe he takes the better of the 2. At least that's how we're
Okay.
going to play it in this situation. I don't want to punish you necessarily for using a Benny.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
In that degree. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a risk reward. I could see it going either way, but I'm going to, for now, say better of the 2.
All right, so
Uh,
he misses on that.
So I believe technically you can spend another Benny if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I got my second attack. I missed that attack, but then I'm going to whip around my tail around another one of them and try to grapple with it.
Okay.
So it's a opposed athletics roll.
That's better.
The Siberian used tail whip. It was super effective.
It did.
They
Well,
rolled a 2 against your 11.
Okay, I'm going to try to crush it with the strength of my tail.
Nice.
You can grapple and like. Sorry, I actually have never used.
So
grapple in
it
this game
says a
before.
grappler may harm someone he's entangled or bound by making an opposed strength roll as an action on his turn. But there's no like sequence of events.
Okay,
Initiate the grapple.
I'm
they try to
gonna.
get
I'm
out.
gonna. So I'm going to assume that the way that that's worded, it sounds to me that dealing the damage is a separate action from actually grappling somebody. Because you're making the athletics check to deal the damage. You're rolling an entirely different skill at that point.
Okay.
But so it's the same roll to grapple someone as it is to do the damage in the grapple, the opposed athletics.
Yeah, it's opposed athletics, and then you can damage them with your strength as part of a crushing.
Okay. Okay. Then in that case, they are completely grappled. They're under your control. No problem there. And then starting next round, you can start crushing. You actually have like all 4 in this giant like cat hug, and you're just like you've got just your massive arms like curling around all of their heads.
Man.
And Nightingale, it is your turn. You have 4 killer robots doing slap fight with you.
Ow, ow, ow. All right, it's time to stop it now. I'm gonna yell at you.
oh my goodness.
And
Scold you.
I'm gonna scold you. You really shouldn't hit people, so I'm gonna scream.
Oh
And-
boy.
gonna use her where is it? Banshee Wail.
Okay.
That's
So
the one
that's-
where they get evasion.
That's one where they get evasion. So you're gonna roll a shooting on that one.
Which is under your skills. Benny that. It's almost
Okay.
the end of the night.
Yeah, so officially that would miss basically your for something happens and maybe they like push your head up just in time and the voice would kind of like go up instead of at them. You need a 4 to kind of put it on target where you want it to go. Or you can spend a Benny and you can reroll that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Sure.
That's better.
Excuse me.
Don't
yes, that's much better. That is a success with a raise. So
Range
you're
attack,
you're actually able to put everything in there.
So damage
they
gets an extra
are-
d6.
They are going to try to roll an agility against you. The new rules in the Adventures Edition is that area attacks, which used to automatically kind of like hit everything,
Oh, I get a chance to.
now get a chance to dodge.
It's
out of
agility
it.
-2, isn't it?
It is
for-
in fact an agility -2. That's
Okay.
correct. So they're going to do that minus that, and they do not succeed.
Ha.
So they are not able to get out of the way of your blast.
All that damage.
How much does her area?
This one
affect?
doesn't do damage. This is the one where if she gets a raise, which she did, they're all stunned and they're incapacitated entirely until
Oh
they can come out of it.
shit.
That's right. Okay.
Nice. So they're just
So-
like. "Argh!"
So you do this scream and it comes out and they're like all four of them are like trying to kick you and you like, I'm gonna scold you, and then you back up and you like and this scream, this like, how does it sound? Like is it slightly angelic? Like how does it like how
No,
would
it's
other
like a
people hear?
shriek.
Just
It's just a horrible, horrible, like woman crying, screaming bloody murder, like just.
so everyone in this room can hear just how ear piercing this is. And it comes from this sweet innocent nightingale you've known up to this point, and all of the robots like shut down when the scream comes in. It just completely overloads like everything about them. And
So sorry.
that is the end of the first turn, and you deal out new initiatives.
Right.
I am
Joker.
so sorry, Nightingale. You have gotten the worst initiatives in all 3 rounds.
It really
tonight.
has.
It's all
Oh
good.
shit.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. She can spend a
Um,
Benny. Get a
Would
different
you like to spend a
card.
Benny to get a different card?
Okay.
Okay.
And she can hit him with it again. And if they get shaken twice, they take damage, I believe. So.
I do have, it looks like 2 different Screech attacks. There's Sonic Blast, and then there's the Banshee Wail.
Sonic Blast.
So
I want
you
to hear
have
the
an-
Banshee will.
Yeah, you have an area effect which will hit everyone in like a burst area, and then you have one that's like a specific target on one person. If you do the burst that hits everybody, it does the stun incapacitate thing. If you're targeting it one person, it's so direct it actually hurts them and deals direct damage.
Okay.
The whale is the AoE and the scream is the stun. Or is
Okay.
is direct damage.
Damage dealer, yeah.
Did you want to do the Benny? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know how to deal just one person in the initiative, so I'm going to give you a card.
Yeah.
And it is no, you're getting a different card.
Flip that bad boy.
How does she get worse than a 2? What the hell?
Magic.
Wow.
Evil sorcery.
Sarah, you have gotten a 2, a 3, and a 4.
Wow.
I'll stick with the 4.
Man.
Wow.
Jeez.
I can't.
It's she just really doesn't want to hurt anybody, and hesitating on all the attacks. It's what it is.
Makes sense.
So I'm moving you up ahead of Tyler just because you're still gonna have to. It's still gonna be the 2 of diamonds, but you're gonna go before Tyler now.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Tyler.
X, it is your turn. You still have
All right.
your group of robots on you, but you have control over one.
I send the one I have control over to like tackle one of the other ones to the ground, and then I just use my monofilament blade to like do an X cut on the one. Like I jump up and I come down, and I go anime style and try to like cut them into 2 pieces.
Okay.
All right.
Do your attack. Are you doing 2 attacks? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just doing 2 straight attacks on the one.
Do
one of the
yours, and then
robots.
he'll roll his.
Sure.
I just realized something.
Abysmal rolls. Ugh.
He could
4.
use that sword to
I'll
slice
reroll. I'll
through,
reroll it. I'll spend a Benny.
and then it would become toast
Damn
at the
it.
same time.
What? What I miss?
She's just being Nightingale and earning 1 million free bennies she won't have time to use.
I was gonna say, if we were not at the very end of this, you'd be getting a lot more bennies right now. I promise.
Nightingale had a realization that you could use your sword to slice bread and make it toast at the same time.
Nice. Hey, I got a raise.
Well, you did, but you also rolled a 1 on your main die, which still is a fail.
Shit.
So,
All
one more now that the situation has come up. When you roll, even if you get a raise or 5 raises on your wild die, if for whatever reason you roll a 1 on your main die, that is going to be a failed action.
Well, those bennies, Eric.
Can I spend another Benny to just roll the trait die and keep the wild die?
Fuck it. Yeah. Well, you can roll again completely.
Best DM.
For reals. I'll just roll this. 8. 7. Much better. I don't actually fail.
7 does hit. That is correct. And that's only your first attack, right?
Yeah, this was just my first. Here's my damage. 14.
Okay.
Scrap metal.
Okay. There were 3 robots remaining in your
3
group.
bonus damage. That's right.
Right. There were
it's
3 robots
17.
remaining, and you had control over 1. With that 1 strike, you cut 2 in half.
Nice.
There's actually only 1 enemy robot remaining on you.
The last attack, he just kind of, as he goes with the momentum, he twists the blade around and he reverses it and he kind of stabs it into the gut of the last one. Like, let's see here.
Wow, X, that was just like a ninja.
Instead of the next robot rolling an attack for you, I'm going to actually give you a +2 to this attack as this robot attempts to assist you.
Cool.
So that 6 is going to be
the gang up bonus. The gang up bonus.
The gang up bonus. Yep.
Right. Perfect opportunity.
Yep. So for this one, you're actually going to get an 8 instead of that 6, which means you hit again.
Nice. 18 damage.
Get the fuck out of here!
Wow.
All right. So you also just completely obliterate, and so 2 of the 4 groups have been destroyed. So now only 2 groups of robots remain.
Focuses his eye on the nearest group available. I don't know if that's Siberians or hers, but he starts zeroing in on them now.
They're about equal distance from you. You'll have to choose if you want to help Siberian or Nightingale.
Okay.
Siberian, it's your turn.
Siberian. So, do I have? You said I have all 4 of them grappled.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to activate my Cold Aura, which is a free action, so that could get nasty at the end of this round. Then I'm going to suplex all 4 of them at once.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'll roll a strength roll. 4 damage. That's...
Do they get a save against the strength while they're
you
grappled?
grappled them. That's
No,
right.
they're grappled, so that's just an action I can take because they're grappled.
Okay.
If they're already grappled, then it's basically a pose, if I'm not mistaken. Your strength versus theirs, or something like that.
So they can roll a strength against.
And actually, size makes a huge difference. You're bigger than they are, so you actually get a bonus to that.
Not mechanically at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
not in
His
this
size
one?
hasn't
Okay.
changed yet. He has the size power, but you have to take so many ranks to actually change categories.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
a 1 below.
Categories.
Nailed it.
Hey. So regardless, 4 damage though actually doesn't break through their toughness, and
Okay.
they're able to withstand your German suplex.
All right, then I will just Cold Aura them, and hopefully it rolls higher. Or not.
Oh, do you have a damage field on you?
You have to spend a
Yeah.
penny to roll your damage.
Nice.
I would like to spend a penny to reroll my damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't take that
Break
one.
'em. Break.
That's
Bonus
better.
damage. That's 11 total damage. It's good.
Okay.
With armor penetration 2. I
Penetration
forgot to
2.
include that in my attack. Actually, I have like 4 armor penetration on the sword.
Even with the armor penetration, the 6 also not break their toughness.
Wow.
So not able
Damn.
to destroy these ones just yet.
Surprisingly resilient.
So how does the bonus damage work? It doesn't count unless the initial damage breaks the toughness?
I don't know why it's rolling bonus damage on that. It shouldn't.
Oh, okay. So you don't
Yeah,
actually
that
have
only
it.
should have happened if it.
The way that you're rolling it, it's going to roll your bonus damage similar to like other systems we use where there's kind of situational dice that you get. The bonus damage you will add if you raised on the attack.
Oh, okay.
That is your.
So it's like rolling advantage, right?
Yeah, it's like rolling with advantage in D&D games, things like that. It's rolling both your dice, but most of the time you're only reading the left-hand side.
Yeah. It's always a D6.
Yep. All right. Next goes one set of killer robots. They're going to try to attempt an athletics against the Siberian to break out.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Wow.
Opposed athletics?
Yes, and that was a 22 from them.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
11 on the wild die. Aced hard on that thing.
And they were able to just kind of, they all together, like, you hear like, zzz, 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 and all of their arms come up on the back side of yours, and just all together they start pulling your arms away from your body, just enough for them to kind of slide out and get out.
Okay.
Next, they're going to go after Nightingale again. Nope, Nightingales are all incapacitated, which means they have to roll Vigor.
Spirit checks? Or unshaken?
It's Vigor.
It's Vigor because they're incapacitated, not shaken.
Oh, okay, got it.
There might be a penalty.
Good, important distinction.
Very possible there's a penalty.
Does your power say, Sarah, if there's a minus to their Vigor roll? It'll be in the description if there is.
Looking. That sounded almost Swedish. I'm looking. All targets you choose in a large burst area try to evade Vigor roll. If they fail to evade, the victim is shaken. Stunned characters are incapacitated but automatically make a Vigor roll each round to revive. Success means they revive but are shaken for the round and can recover on the next as usual. A raise means they revive instantly and are not shaken.
No negative.
Okay, no negative. Cool. That's not a real command, Steven. They rolled a 9 on their Vigor, which means that they succeed with a raise, so they actually do reactivate this turn. And so they were shut down, and then you're kind of like standing there, kind of seeing like what's about to happen, and then instantly all their eyes kind of shoot back up at you, go red, and like all reach out at you, like really quick in unison.
Oh no. I guess I didn't scream loud enough.
The 10 hits your parry, correct?
Yeah.
Uh,
But I have an 11 toughness.
Nice.
You have an 11 toughness, so they once again they go and they reach out and they try to like grab you and kind of like pull you in different directions, but you're just too tough and like they're not breaking through that toughness. They're just not hitting you hard enough.
Stop it.
I don't remember. Do extras include the extra damage die, or is that just wild cards specifically?
I don't know. I have to double check that. I think they might actually get them, but
I don't remember.
Yeah. Nightingale, it is your turn. 4 evil killer robots are trying to grab you.
Yay.
I think I'm gonna give that that single target scream an attack, an attempt.
Okay.
And see how that does.
Perfect. It's the same skill as before, so it's still shooting.
Okay.
Ooh. So this is that situation we talked about before, where even though your wild die aced and did really well, your main die rolled a 1. So this would be a missed attack, but you have bennies to spare. So if you like to roll again, you may.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
And this
Much
time
better.
a 6 definitely hits, and you're able to focus that scream right into the center of them. roll your damage. I believe it is 66.
Whoa! What?
Is that
Yeah,
right,
it's,
Tyler?
it's max, yeah.
Oh!
It doesn't like me.
Oh no!
What do I do?
66? That is a fucking. That is
Wait,
a
what happened?
mortar shot.
Oh,
You know,
I have to
actually,
build the damage in, so just roll 66 manually.
Use the. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
Nice
fix the
one,
buttons
20.
before next week. You're shitting
That
on
thing is gonna go kaboom.
There it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Um,
you don't even need
roll-
to roll a.
roll
Roll
another
another
s-
d6, please.
Yeah.
Just one.
Holy crow.
There it is. So you rolled a 6 in that, so it exploded, and you got to roll it again.
Wow.
So
Sweet.
total goes from a 23 to a 26, which means you deal more than the maximum amount of
Obliterated.
damage you can actually deal in a round. You obliterate this group. You focus your fire on one of them, and you scream, "Ah!" and just the whole room distorts and starts shaking. Even though this is metal and just
The
this
girders are like shaking
like
and shit.
those pillars I talked about are literally shaking, and the room is about to collapse as she just and then all 4 of them just fall apart. Screws start popping out, circuits are breaking, an arm falls off, and just all 4 collapse.
Nice.
I told them to stop hitting me and they wouldn't listen.
And finally,
X is
it is
just like-
Nighthaunt's turn.
He's got a
He's
little bit
good.
of sadness.
He's gonna use
Yeah.
energy control again, only this time I'm gonna aid the team. So, yeah, find my character sheet. So, I'm going to attempt to use energy control to, how many groups of robots are left? Just one, right?
One.
Stage? Yeah. I'm gonna use energy control to hamper and slow them down and, mess with all of their fighting trait. And I'm going to use a power stunt so that everybody on our team, so that on the next round when we redraw cards, they swap with Sarah, unless she's better. If she's better, then we'll swap with whoever's lower. I'm going to use initiative swap power stunt
Wow. Cool.
with the
All right.
lowest person of our group.
Very cool.
All right, so that means they
I have to roll smarts to see if I succeeded all of that.
gotcha.
So Tyler's crowd control and support. Wow.
You got a 5.
Yep, so that works.
yes. So it does activate. What is the effect on them again? I'm sorry. Other than
I'll-
the initiative swap?
Yeah, I'll actually read it to you so you can see what it says. With a smarts roll and an action, I can use fluff, whatever the word is, trappings to inflict a -2 penalty to any one trait roll within the area of effect until my next action, -4 with a raise. This is a more intense version of the lower trait power trick and doesn't stack, so I'm lowering fighting for them by 2.
Okay, sounds good. That is the end of the turn, so we get a new initiative. Ooh, and with that, these killer robots are about to get
Going
messed
last
up.
anyways, okay.
All right, X, it is your
Yeah.
turn.
Oh, I
You
go
are
again? It's
top of the
not
initiative again with an ace.
Hey.
Yeah, those
all
cards
right.
like you, they know you're a ninja. You're fast.
Right. All right. Yeah. I just I run like you do the ninja dash like over to like the nearest group, which I think is just Siberian's group
I believe
at
the
this
kids
point.
call it the Naruto run now.
Yeah, he does that, and he just he jumps into the midst of the group that is embroiled in the melee with the Siberian, and he just tries to take 2 of them out, 2 different slices. It's like
Okay.
goes to town on them. Let's see what we got here. Fighting 1. I think I missed. And oh god, what is this?
Was that your second attack or a Benny?
That was my second attack. I will Benny one of them though. I'll spend my.
Why would
I actually have one extra Benny besides this one because I got one for the the origin.
Oh yes.
Also,
Chocolate-
if you have
chocolate peanut butter.
multi-attack, why would the 5 miss?
A 5 doesn't hit their parry.
Doesn't hit the parry.
Yeah.
It's melee, so. Oh,
He's doing
shit.
melee. Right,
Terrible.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my weak. That's my problem. I don't have a very good shooting score or anything like that, so I'm just like, I'm trying to hit them, and like they're just moving around too much.
Unfortunately, at this point, you're moving in to try to help the Siberian. He's the last one with a group left, and he's got them. He's doing what he can with them. And you move up and you start slashing at them, but they've kind of circled each other, and they're kind of holding off all of you. But it is the Siberian's turn. And because X has come up to directly help you, you can get a +2 to whatever it is you're trying to do this round.
All right, so he is going to leap up and bounce off a wall and try to come down and pounce on him.
Okay. So you're like running up and bouncing off.
You can have all my bennies.
just re-roll. It's okay.
Could have Benny that.
Remember, you have a +2.
Yeah, so 7.
So that's a 7. Yeah.
Which hits?
16 damage.
Whoa!
There it is.
Yeah.
So
Fuck that robot.
you run up one of the pillars, and you can feel through your paws it's still vibrating.
Mhm.
And then you back kick off with your back legs, and while you're midair, you're about to come down on them. And how do you take out this last group?
Am I hitting all of them at once?
So now that they're all dead, these basically acted as swarms or mobs.
Okay.
So you dealt enough damage to kill all of them.
Oh, okay. Then he just comes down and literally just pounces all of them. Like, yeah.
Okay.
In retrospect, I would
Actually,
have tried.
no. He'll pounce off of one, then kick off of that one, and then pounce on that one, and then kick. He'll just do like this whole like kicking thing to when finally he's just done and hulking out in the middle of a bunch of broken out, busted out robots.
Perfect. The Siberian turns into just this speedball of like white and gray fur as he just rockets back and forth between all 4 of them, just mauling them.
Nice.
You're the cutest murder pinball I've ever seen.
Please write that down. In retrospect, I probably should have used my other power to go invisible, because in Savage Worlds if you get the drop on somebody, meaning if you go into stealth and you attack them, you usually get a +4 to attack and damage or something like that.
I'll read stealth and catching people off guard again, but yeah, it used to be a +2 or a +4. So if you were able to go invisible and successfully make it a stealth roll, you might be able to do that in the middle of combat. Sure.
Yeah.
But with that,
only once per combat, but yeah.
But with that, the final group of robots is destroyed. The pillars retract back down into the floor. A voice comes up through the entire room. It's clearly the person that you were talking with before. It's Allison's voice. She comes up through the intercom.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, Nightingale. That was absolutely amazingly impressive from all of you, and I want to thank you all so much for your excellent performances in this exam. Congratulations on passing your first test. Commencing test 2 now. And you hear this, and like all these gears start running, and you kind of hear like pumps starting, and the room starts to fill with water.
I don't feel very well.
And before it's that scene in the comic where the water just rises so rapidly, and before you go under, were you gonna say something, Eric?
100% probability that this was a complete waste of time.
And with that line, you're all covered as the room fills completely up to the top with water. And the far end, or on the floor, like a grate opens, and you see this shadowy figure swirling around, and a robot great white shark comes out and starts swimming
Robot
towards you.
great white shark.
Robot
Sean's
great
nightmare.
white shark.
Happening right now.
And with that,
Done.
and with that, we will end for the
Good cliffhanger.
Oh man.
next time on Capes of Valor.
Next dish.
Next issue of Capes of Valor, will our intrepid heroes be able to defeat the nefarious mechanical... Man, I lost the name of the shark. The
Just
mechanical
remember.
great white.
Mechanical shark is a shark.
Just remember,
Mechanical shark is a shark. Yes.
every girl's crazy about a shark-dressed man.
Holy shit.
Just the perfect ending there. Thank you so much.
Seriously.
Uh,
Man. Wow.
But yeah, with that's the end of our session for this evening. So what was everyone's impressions of both their first superheroes game and Sarah, your first introduction to Savage Worlds? What did you think?
That was pretty easy to follow. I was really really happy with that, and the sheet, like when I first looked at it, it was a little daunting.
Sure.
Just because information overload, but after getting to poke around on it, it was really navigatable.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a word now.
that's
You've
it's
successfully
it's
navigated
1 in the
Savage
morning.
Worlds.
I'm
Exactly.
tired.
It's great. Glad you enjoyed it. Anyone else? Any final thoughts on the game this evening?
Good stuff. Need more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Agreed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you to everybody watching. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here for our first issue. I hope to see you next week as our heroes continue their interview/orientation into the Olympic team. But that will be it for us tonight. Once again, thank you so much to Roll20. Thank you so much to Pinnacle Entertainment Group for bringing us Savage Worlds, Sirenscape for the amazing music that we had all evening. Very heroic score to all of this. It really adds so much to the games, being able to get into the mood for everything. What's your parting words for everybody?
USA. USA. The Olympics.
The Olympic team, we're still with that one, yeah.
Remind everybody
Yeah.
who you are.
Eldritch Echoes on the internet. Come see me first on Mondays for The Game Beneath the Sea, and then come watch this. Follow us so you can get notified when we do more stuff, and then come see us Friday for our games then too.
At Space Lord PJs, I just posted a doodle from one of our characters on Friday during the break, and so on Cartoon.Ninja, and going to bed after this, but looking forward to doing this again next week. That's not true. I'm going to go play Civ 6.
In his bed on his Switch.
That's true. I could
Fall
do that.
asleep and it just smacks him in the face. I could see that happening. You can find me on Twitter at Neat Sullivan, and you can find me everywhere else as Neat and Co Designs. Hope you liked the wig; it was extra special. And I will be going to bed because I have a meeting at 10 in the morning.
Ooh.
Boo work.
Eric,
And I'm Maron Recluse on the internet, of course. Eric to everybody else, and I'm just going to be geeking out over Savage Worlds with Steve and Tyler here for the next for a while after we're done.
For the next 5 hours.
Yeah, I just want to see. Like, I still happen to see all the different stuff that. If you want to tell them about it, Steve, the Flash Gordon stuff that you got from. For Savage Worlds.
I don't know if I want to crack that conversation open because I'll keep this stream on for the next 2 hours. But Sean, for my birthday, procured me the Flash Gordon Savage Worlds box set, and
it is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and we're gonna run away together and start a beautiful family.
And now
Sure.
Steve's just flashing everyone.
Flashing Gordon everywhere.
Someday we're gonna do a short adventure tale in that.
I hope so.
That'd be sweet.
Oh, nice.
Once again, thank you all so much. The four of you, absolutely amazing session. You brought right out of the gate issue 1 amazing characters. Thank you guys. That was amazing. Once again, thank you to everybody in chat. Amazing to have you here. If you haven't done so already and you enjoyed us, you can give us a little follow here on Twitch or go to our YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Every single thing you can do, leave a comment. All of that helps us continue to do this. It's our favorite thing in the world. So we thank you so much for being here. And with that, I just want to say good night and be super.
Super. Bye.
Bye.